Okay, let's see if this is all. Oh, shoot. Nope. Wrong button. Sorry, everyone. Okay, let's go back to doing this. Okay, I don't want to do a pop out. Where is... Holy fudge cakes. There it is. Fucking annoying, man. Okay, there we go. Oh, of course he's on here. Look at this surprise guest.
What? Who? What happened?
What's
I
going
didn't do it.
on?
What's going on here? Oh, Hazel. Hazel.
Was that your baby?
Okay, she's cooperating now.
Oh god, that sounded like
Yeah.
a real voice there for a second. I got so confused. Okay, let's see.
You're like, who else is there? Does your fiance know?
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, Jimmy, you're coming through perfectly. Oh, but it looks like you have a fan
Oh,
already on Twitch. Someone's shouting out your name.
what happened?
Uh,
Whoa.
boundary break. They're going Jimmy.
Ooh. Oh, nice.
Uh,
Oh,
sorry, buddy. I'm just gonna
oh,
quickly get this.
someone's getting fussy.
All right, sorry guys. Give you a few secarudos here. I'm just gonna make sure this is all set up properly. Because I'm not playing Persona or Wreckfest right now. This is the Two Tired Dudes podcast. My bad.
Oh, all right.
Okay, there. Hopefully that changed. Hello, Boundary. Nice to meet you. I don't think I've seen you on the streams before, so I'm going to give you a follow. And let me just hop over to Restream before this all crashes. And also give you a little shout out.
Oh. Hi. Because of course.
Nice. Oh, Ghosts and Goblins. Ooh, nice choice. Yeah, so Jimmy's here. Because this is the Two Tired Dudes podcast. If it's your first time being on the podcast, basically, we now go to a bi-weekly schedule where myself and pretty much anyone on the Discord community can hop on, and we have random discussions about various topics. Like I said, every couple of weeks, we do a little recap as well to find out how everyone's doing and what they've been up to. So for this week's topics are going to be the future of Game Pass and what some of our opinions are on that subject. And the other one too is also going to be about the Nintendo Switch. We're going to talk about the Switch too, and we're also going to talk about just Nintendo in general. You know, like we all know that Nintendo kind of stands out as far as the gaming industry goes, and usually a lot of people just use that terminology of, well, it's Nintendo, right? So, but what is Nintendo? How does Nintendo stand out? And all that jazz. But yeah, Jimmy, this is exciting. It's almost like we're doing our own podcast, pretty much at this point.
I figured, I don't know how long I'll have, but I figured I'd at least come in and chat for a bit if the baby cooperates.
Oh hell yeah, my dude! I'm always excited to have you on here. I also know
You
that.
said boundary break came in like on Twitch, because I don't have Twitch open, so I didn't see the chat.
Oh yeah. I have, one of your buddies popped on just to shout out your name.
Well, that was kind of him. He's an awesome guy.
Another one of your like horror game buddies or different?
Would you say one of my what buddies?
Like horror games, like Resident Evil. One of those buddies or someone else?
Oh no, this is one of my buddies that I met like in person years ago.
Ooh, very nice. A real.
Yeah. Real life friend. Yep.
Aw. Well, I'm glad you're ready
Sure.
for the podcast. I hope it lives up to the hype. But yeah, I mean, Jimmy is obviously an honored guest as always. So I know Jimmy, like you said, you got limited time. So whatever you can, let us know what you've been up to. I know it kind of sucks because we got our podcast later on in the month, but I mean, still feel free if Fallout 4 is something you want to talk about, by all means, share it.
Well, I'm gonna hold off on the Fallout 4 shenanigans until our podcast when we talk about what we've been playing. But other than that, I mean, I'm still plugging away a little bit at Persona 4. Slowly, a little bit of Stellar Blade, slowly. It's just been it's been crazy with the new position at work and all that training. So it really hasn't been as much gaming as I'd like, but doing what I can. I mean, I haven't been up to too much. I mean, oh God, I probably sound exhausted, and I apologize.
Oh no, it's all good,
But
man.
yeah, mostly just trying to plug away at some other backlog while making time for Fallout 4. I kind of picked that up and play for a bit here and there, do a couple things. I took your advice and kind of didn't just stick to the main quest line, just kind of like made my own little adventure out of it, and I think that's helped a lot.
Well, it's funny because there's this.
But that's as much as I'm going to say about that.
Well, I say it's funny you say that, right? Because there's a guy I follow on Twitter too, and he's going to Fallout 4, kind of like you. Went into before, fell off. Now he's going back into it. You might remember me talking about him before because he was the guy that did the whole Dark Souls trilogy. Um,
Yeah.
I think I was kind of, I was giving a little bit of spoilers that I was getting out of that. But anyway, he did the same idea that you did. And I think he's like, whatever it is, 100 locations in, about 50 hours in. And he finally just got to Diamond City. Before that, he was just farting around and he was having like the best time ever. And yeah, I don't know, a firm believer that that's kind of how the Fallout world needs to be played. It's not a go here, go there, go, wherever you want. It's more like, okay, here's this big ass world, and I'm just gonna like dive into it piece by piece and, scavenge and whatever else through the wastelands. But
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was gonna say though, Jimmy, because you never really got. Well, I mean, here and there on Discord, but I never really got to hear like your in-voice opinion of Stellar Blade. I am kind of curious because I mean that game's for the most part seems to get some pretty nice reviews. But yeah, I'm just curious what old Jimmy's opinion is on the game from what you played so far.
So, of course, I'm not like super far in. I'm probably like I've been to like a few areas, if I can put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's I want to say this without making it sound like it's worse than it is. I really like it. I'm really enjoying it.
It's okay
But
if
I
you
don't want
looked
to
up the skirt,
oversell
Jimmy.
it either. What's up?
I said it's okay if you looked up the skirt. It's okay. We're not going to judge you.
Oh God, she doesn't even wear a skirt. Well, maybe I don't know. I only have like 2 outfits.
Oh.
But I mean, the jiggle physics are definitely there. And I'm not mad about it. It's fine. It is what it is. No, I was gonna say, like the game itself is pretty good so far. I'm still kind of too early to give it like a score or anything, but I feel like it's gonna be a solid anywhere between like maybe between like a 7 and 8 for me. Like
That's decent. That's really
like the
decent.
combat's fun. Yeah. Again, like I know we live in a world where like it's either great or it's not. Like I feel like that's a lot of the reviews out there. It's like if it's not perfect, it's trash. And it's,
So
vice
true.
versa. But like again, like to bring up another game that kind of went, I would say Stellar Blade's probably better than this one, but the Callisto Protocol.
Ooh, yeah.
Sorry, my baby is just. I hear that whine and it goes right through my head.
No
All
worries.
thoughts gone.
No worries, my friend.
But the Callisto Protocol, that was a solid 7 out of 10 game if I was to put a score on it. But I had a blast with it.
Yep.
And like the idea behind that for me is like not every game needs to be a 10 out of 10 to have a good time with it. You know, like it can be rough around the edges. There can be things here and there, and you can still have a great time with it. Again, that's why I don't really put too much stock in review scores, and it's more about what's said in the article. But yeah, so far Stellar Blade's pretty great. I noticed that, like, you know, as you level up, obviously things get easier.
Yep.
I wouldn't say it's difficult, especially coming off of like if you're going into it thinking it's gonna be a Souls-like, it's not really. There are things that can remind you of it. You know, like there's definitely a parry system, which when you get down is super satisfying. But like you unlock abilities and stuff that just make it like it becomes even flashier. You know, like I got an ability where specific moves I can kind of warp behind the enemy and just go ham. You know, like just cool little things like that where it's like every upgrade feels like it's something meaningful. You know.
Yeah. No, that's
So
kind of
it's that
excited to hear.
satisfying, rewarding.
That's kind of excited to hear like your opinion on, because like you played a lot of Souls games. So I was like, if anyone's gonna tell me like what they took from that in this game, it would be you. Um, so yeah, no, it's nice to hear that you had the same opinion that JW did. That it doesn't have that difficulty, but it's like more, I guess, that combat flair. Um, that I guess
Yeah.
it took from Dark Souls. Yeah. Okay. Okay. You also got got comments saying that you added on 2 points because of the jiggle physics.
No, of course, of course.
um,
It's a 16 out of 10, obviously, with the jiggle physics.
Now, to make sure I don't screw it up this time, I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I'm just going to give a movie reference. And if you don't catch on to it, that's okay. But when you do play the game, tell me if you get the same opinion. There was a podcast I was listening to, and they've gone pretty deep into Stellar Blade, but they said they got a lot of the Matrix out of it. Does that mean anything to you so far, or no?
um,
Nice. I don't want to spoil anything. I
I
know.
mean,
Dragon's Dogma 2. I fucked up with you, but
no, I mean, it's I get again. I'm too early on to say if that's the case.
okay, not the whole movie.
I
There's just when you hear that word, you might get like little
yeah,
tidbits. Yeah.
yeah. It's weird because like obviously with the Matrix, you're not. I don't know. I guess it would be tough for me. So I haven't watched The Matrix in a while either. So like again, it depends on what they're equating to it.
Like more
You
of
know?
like, I guess, a location name, and
Matrix.
I didn't want to spoil anything for Jimmy, but I was just kind of jumping off what the Super Show was talking about there, about with Stellar Blade and kind of like the Matrix references, I guess would be the best way to say it. I was just curious if Jimmy
Oh,
got to those
right.
parts.
Well, there are a couple throughout the game.
Yeah, but
And one that is not a spoiler is when you use fast travel, it's a payphone, like in the Matrix.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, like
I've seen
it
the
was neat.
payphone. I just haven't used. I actually haven't used fast travel yet, but that I haven't really had to, I guess, yet. So
Oh, but you will in the future for sure.
I'm sure.
Yeah, just
But yeah, that's my favorite reference of it as of now. But there are others. It's just I don't want to spoil it either. I
yeah.
don't know where you're at.
I appreciate that.
I think
I'm really not super far in.
it just like surprised me about that like little tidbit was just the fact that like you didn't really catch any of that in like the lead up to this game, right? So when they were talking about that on the podcast, I was like, man, that's really fucking neat. Like that's actually really cool that they took inspiration from that movie. But yeah, sorry, Jimmy. I don't want to ruin anything for you. I know you're like, shut up, Matt. Shut
No,
up.
no, it's all good. No, yeah, you get any of that because everyone's too mad about yelling over the butt.
I know, eh?
But
So stupid.
yeah, no, but I mean, it's a good game so far. I would recommend it to anyone. I mean, granted, I haven't played much of it, but I mean, I played enough to get a feel for the game, and that alone, I'm intrigued with the world. I'm intrigued with they got some interesting creature designs, which is pretty cool. That's always a big selling point for me. And the combat is just fun. Like it's very, very satisfying. Like it's not. I would say it's not really overly complex right away, and I know you can get skills that add more to it, but it looks flashy and it's just satisfying to pull off. Nothing like, you're not going to do like Tekken levels of combos or anything like that. So
No, but that warp
I,
ability you mentioned sounded really cool, though.
I think you'll be surprised because there's more that unlocks even later. You have more trees and stuff
yeah,
that unlocks. So there are multiple ways of transitioning into different combos while you're starting an initial combo, and
right,
so it does expand as you go on.
yeah. I mean, they definitely like so far. Obviously, with being so early on, like there's only certain things I've gotten, but like even just like the ability to warp behind them, or like the other one there I just got was like a when they do like there's like a purple glow before they hit you, and you can kind of like do like a backflip kick or whatever, and
Ooh.
I
Yeah,
don't know, things like that. Those are pretty neat. I like them.
yeah.
They're not super hard to pull off, but they're satisfying when it happens. That's like the best way I can think of it. It's just it's satisfying and fun.
That's cool.
It's not like yeah, it's not overbearing. You never. I don't know. So far I don't feel like overwhelmed by anything. Like you might miss time a parry and be like, ah, crap. But like outside of that, it's really. I mean, I think anyone could really pick it up, and it wouldn't be too bad. I mean, there's really no, as far as I know, there's no penalty for death. Um,
You
from
know,
what I've seen,
I did forget to
it's
ask
not
you
like a
guys.
Souls game where like
I said I did forget to ask
you
you
what?
guys. What is there actually like difficulties, or is it just like you just jump into the game?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well,
there.
there are difficulties. There's normal and hard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I realized no one's ever said that if there was like a normal, hard, or whatever the next mechanic might be.
Yeah, and I would say as someone that hates Dark Soul difficulty level, normal is pretty easy in brackets. Like you have
Yeah,
moments that are harder, but in general, it's a pretty easygoing moment.
Okay,
yeah, that I would agree with that.
and then oh, Sheila has a game for you, Jimmy. She says that she thinks you should try Steel Rising.
I did pick that up on a sale a while back. I have yet to really go into it, so I'm definitely planning on playing that at some point.
There you go,
So I will
Sheila.
definitely. And now I'm gonna have to report when I do it. I'm gonna have to tell you all about. Yeah, I think I played about 5 minutes of it. It definitely seems interesting, but like I came off the heels of Lies of P, which is just probably one of the best, if not the best, non-FromSoft Souls game I've ever played.
Ooh,
Oh
very high
wow.
praise.
Yeah, I honestly, it's not perfect, but like if you really like Bloodborne, I would highly, highly recommend Lies of P.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's like the closest thing to Bloodborne 2 you'll get.
That's awesome. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
um,
no, it was really good.
and I know you said there's only a few games you got to play, but I am really, really curious, right? Because it was a neat little indie game that came out. Did you get a chance to try a little more Crow Country? Do we get an opinion from Jimmy on that one?
Oh yes. So obviously, I still have to play more. You can, as you can see, there's a theme here. I have very little time. So when I can, actually get a moment to game, I try to get as much as I can, and maybe sometimes I sacrifice a little bit of sleep. But Crow Country so far is awesome. Like I love what they've done with it. I think it's I'm not gonna say that like the story's wowed me yet. I mean, I'm not really expecting anything crazy from it. I'm more just going along for like that bit of like a nostalgia trip, right? Because it's definitely got like Resident Evil, old school Resident Evil, old school, like, like a little bit of Silent Hill in there. And then, of course, like, I can't help but think Final Fantasy VII when I see the character model. So it's like this weird mix of like horror with like I hate to use the word, but like cutesy style.
Yep.
You know,
Totally.
because it really is like it's not a game that's gonna like terrify you, of course, but it's like if you get in the right mindset and just go in, it's like it's very, very much atmospheric. It's very much like stepping back in time, and like, games didn't have to look insane or anything like that, but like you can still get immersed into it. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm looking forward to the most about it, because I'm definitely, I want to see what unfolds, what's going on in that story, and because right now I'm still early on, so I don't really have a whole lot to go off of.
Well, if it
And
makes
that's
you excited at all, they did post a tweet saying that they're going to be adding some more content to the game. So I mean, obviously there's going to be bug fixes and stuff like that, but they are planning to add a hard mode. Don't really know what Steam trading cards are, but that's something that's added, and Crow Quest reward with permanent setting in the menu. And then obviously they're going to add different languages, but a hard mode's kind of neat that they're going to add that in there.
Yeah. I like that they also have the option for I don't remember what it's called, but they have that mode for like people who don't want to deal with like the survival horror aspect of it and want to just like do the puzzles and stuff. I thought that was a neat touch, because like there's gonna be people that like might be too afraid to tackle a survival horror type style, but like you might like puzzles, and you might like the setting and the atmosphere and all that stuff. So I thought that was an awesome idea.
It's still a bit weird, though. Here's a horror game, but I don't want to deal with the horror aspect.
Right.
Well, I guess like the game for me, right? Like I think it'd be neat to like walk around the Resident Evil mansion and just without any zombies, like just kind of explore that setting. And I think that's what they were just trying to go with for in that mode, right? Like you can play the game normal, but you could just, if you like the music and all that jazz, right? You could just kind of explore the game for a little bit, fart around.
Listen, here's my dream. Here's my dream, because you mentioned Resident Evil, so now it has to be said. Resident Evil 1 remake, a new one in the RE engine or whatever.
Yes.
And then give us a VR mode. I want to go through the mansion in VR. Give it to me. I'm ready.
Because
I'm still annoyed they haven't made a remake one yet.
I know. It's funny too, because it's like you got all these people coming out being like, RE1 doesn't need a remake. It already has the perfect remake. But it's like, no, I'm an OG fan, and I still want to see a remake, because I want to see what they do for one.
I want a remake without the limited save.
Right. Over the shoulder, like experiencing it in a new way, see what they change, I don't know. I guess I'm always like of the mindset of, these don't replace the original, because I still have the original and can go back to it. I know that there's other people that are very rigid about it, and they want to have like one-to-one remake. They want everything to be the same.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. For me, I'm okay with changes. To a point. If you completely change like the spirit of the game and like make it into something, completely bastardized, then we're gonna be like, all right, this wasn't the best option. But I don't know. I'm a fairly open-minded person when it comes to that stuff. So like, I really like an excuse to go back, because I'd like to see, they like when I played the GameCube remake right back in the day.
Yep.
I knew Resident Evil 1, so then going into that, all of a sudden there's like these different things and these changes, and it's like, it essentially kept, the first game intact, but it also added and changed stuff so that like, I do have to, refigure all this stuff out, because it's actually now like, it's different. It's like you go through that hallway where the dogs that initially like jumped out in the original, they don't jump out the first time, so like the window cracks, throws you off. You're expecting it, and you're like, wait a minute, it didn't happen. I love when they mess with your expectations like that, and that's why I think, if there's a remake, they should have changes, but like good changes.
Sure.
Yeah, why not make it refreshing for old players? I agree with you. Sheila just shouted
Yeah.
out two VR choices she would like too: is Resident Evil Village in VR and Resident Evil Zero in VR. Do they
Well,
have?
Village it exists in
Yeah,
Yeah.
VR.
I was gonna say there is some Resident Evil games in VR, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Village and Remake 4.
Wow,
I
not
don't know about Remake 2 and 3. I'm not sure. I don't know, but I know
They
for a
don't.
fact 4 and 8 does.
I'm shocked
Yeah.
And
they didn't.
4 and
7,
8
of course.
do.
Yeah, that's the one. I'm
7
shocked they didn't do 7.
does, but only on PSVR 1.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah. So here's what would be awesome is if they went back, updated Resident Evil 7 VR and made it so that it's, well, even before that, they need to make these available for people on PC as well, because it does kind of suck that, you have, you can only do it on PlayStation unless, Resident Evil 4, the original Resident Evil 4 has a VR version that's on the Quest and stuff like that. But outside of that, like all the VR games for Resident Evil are basically tied to PlayStation. So, it I'm a firm believer in, like, letting everyone play something, right? So,
I agree.
like it's one of the things where it's like I'm not someone who likes to gatekeep. I like, everyone to find a reason to love every game, and stuff like that. And, like, yeah, there might be some games that, no matter what you do, you can't love, but I don't know. I'm an equal opportunist when it comes to all that stuff. So I would prefer that, like, people on PC get to play it, people elsewhere get to play it. I don't know what they would have to sacrifice to get those to run on, like, the MetaQuest headsets, but if they did want to put the resources there, like, that would be great for them. Or, because it'll be on PC, they can just do you can plug it into a PC and do it that way.
Yeah, I gotta say, number
But
7
yeah,
would be fun to
I think more
explore.
people need to experience that. The
Yeah,
village fight in VR in Resident Evil 4 remake was awesome. That
oh,
was like, because you don't just hit a button to reload; you actually have to reload.
yeah,
So
that's
it gets really
badass.
intense. It's amazing.
Yeah, that must have been cool, man. That's really badass.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everyone just come over. I'll hook up the PSVR 2. Everyone gets a turn. Perfect.
Yeah, right when you said that, I was like, man, you must have felt like
Can
you're
you
in an
pay
action
my
game.
plane ticket or
Yeah, I'm gonna update my status to sugar daddy, and I'm just gonna pay for it. No, oh my god, I wish though, man. If I had all the money in the world, oh, absolutely. I'd be building a vacation home like right out here. I'd be like, all right, so when you visit, you got this whole house over here to yourself.
Wow, I wouldn't do
Yeah.
that. I don't want I don't want so many people around me. No.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, I'm just crazy. It's all good though.
Sure.
Oh man, but yeah,
Oh,
I
sorry.
no, it's all good. I but yeah, I definitely feel like more people need to get to experience the Resident Evil games in VR. Those are a blast.
I say, to avoid any spoilers, I'll wait a second for JW to give us his Stellar Blade update. But while I got you here, Jimmy, because I am a little curious on your thoughts on it. What do you think about the state of Game Pass right now? So, example, right? A lot of big topics right now are saying, okay, when Elder Scrolls, 6 hits the market, when Call of Duty is going to come out, um, are they going to still honor Game Pass and let people play these games for free? Do you think they're going to change the tiers to it? Do you think it has a future? Because, like, things have changed, right? Like, I mean, obviously Microsoft bought out a
Right.
lot of people, right? And a lot of things have happened in recent news along with that transition. Yeah, just and same with you too, JW. I think this is an easy topic where we won't have any spoilers. But anyway, yeah. Like, what's your guys' thoughts and opinions on that?
So, and they announced that they're doing the tiers, right? Or they're like thinking about it.
Nothing's been said yet. As far as like everyone's letting
Okay,
us
it's just
know,
rumors right now.
yeah, it's more of just like, oh no, everything's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Well, absolutely. If they're gonna do the tiered system, which I kind of hope they don't. um, but if they do that, I could absolutely see them like putting, like the Elder Scrolls 6 behind the like whatever the premium tier is or things like that. Um, but I mean, you never know. Like this, uh, I'll be honest. This has been like the craziest console generation. It's just like it's like one big emotional roller coaster, right?
Yep.
There's just constant. It's like constant, arguments about this or that, and on one hand censorship issues, and on the other hand, it's like what studios closing down now. There's a lot of layoffs and stuff like that. It's just like it does seem like there's a crash coming.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like it's just weird because it's one of those things where like 1 minute everything can seem fine and then all of a sudden something happens. Like, hey, Helldivers 2. I know that like you were able to play it on PC and it was a good time, but you know, thinking of making you guys, make a PSN account. What do you think about that? It's like, why? It's already been out. Everything's working fine. Why are we going to add this to complicate the things? Like, and then I know that they want to add it to more of their PC games, and it's like I don't understand why you got to like force them into that, especially with there being places where you can't sign up for PSN. It's just weird decisions like that. I don't I don't know where they come from. It just seems so, because to us it seems so obvious that that's a bad idea. So like I
Yeah.
would love to see like the internal conversation, you know.
Well, the internal conversation is easy. They're wondering how to expand or at least fake an expansion, but
Right.
and that's their idea of it. And they're probably thinking, oh, you just need to. People make so many accounts so easily without reading anything, and it won't bother them to
Right.
just have an extra account.
That's fair. That is fair.
But obviously, nobody thought of the risks of the many countries that do not support PSN.
Right.
So somebody fucked up there and never thought of that risk, because that's a major, major oversight in all
Oh
of
yeah.
this.
Yeah, it's like I don't. I just can't. I can't even put to words. It's just so mind blowing. Like when I read that, and it was fairly recently, I was just like, really? Like really? Like everything was going well. Because then I hate to see like the developers like pay for it. Um, it just kind of sucks because I know a lot of people are having fun with Helldivers too, and it's a shame that like something like that's kind of out of their control can like do something like that. Like at the end of the day, people know it's a good game. It's just I know that like everyone banded together and was like review bombing to prove a point. So it's I mean, if it works, it works. It's just a shame that like the dev has to be kind of in the middle of that. That's
It's
all.
funny because the dev made a cape with the visual, statistic visual on Steam. Uh, yeah, with the board as the cape of the negative reviews plummeting.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
wow.
funny.
Yeah, it's
That
really
is kind
good.
of funny.
I know
Yeah, it's
another.
just like
Sorry, Jimmy. Go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead, buddy.
No, I got nothing.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say to add on to the Game Pass thing. Another idea that I saw that was thrown out there too was having like those big launch titles, like the Call of Duties, Bethesda games, etc., etc. Having them on a delay before they reach Game Pass, so not being a day one launch. That was another one. I
No,
realized too, like saying this, like
that that's not happening.
No, I know, but like,
That's
how would you guys like feel about that? Like, from the
that's not happening because they keep even now they keep repeating that Game Pass is the place to get Xbox Day One
yeah,
releases.
Yeah,
which yeah,
So
yeah,
that's definitely not happening.
yeah, that would be them like admitting that idea is bad. So like, I see them backing down from their Game Pass right now to do crazy things like that because again, like I said, it'd be like them admitting that it was a bad plan to move forward with that kind of a service.
The tier list is the most probable one since all of this streaming services. That's what they've
Yeah.
done in the past, and it's not the same, but
Right.
they have a similar format, right? A similar format of how they give out their product. So
very
Yep.
if
true.
you compare it to streaming services, that's what they've done. They've done a tier list. They've started adding ads and stuff like that. I think that's what you'll see with Game Pass. Add ads and tier lists to not have those ads or
Right.
other stuff. Xbox have tried in the past to put ads in on their consoles and stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, they have.
I'm just picturing a crazy world where like you go to turn on a game and the first thing that comes up is an ad like you'd see on YouTube, and it's like that would kill gaming for me so fast.
Yeah,
And that would be the point, right? They'd want to give you an incentive to pay for the premium tier so you wouldn't have that. But like it's just that would leave such a sour taste.
Although I think it does the contrary effect if you do that. For
Yeah.
example, recently Amazon has added their an extra tier to not have ads. Now you have ads with Amazon streaming services, and I'm thinking of not paying of changing streaming services for the first time. I've always liked the Amazon thing, but the point
Yeah.
of streaming services is to not have ads
yeah,
Right.
as you watch your stuff, and now they're starting to do that. And no, I won't pay an extra I don't know how many dollars for it.
Right.
I was initially paying so that I don't have ads. I won't pay
Right.
extra for it.
very
So
true.
it's just so I think if something like that happens with games, um, there will be this similar thing of half of the people at least will turn off, if not more.
Yep.
Well, I think was it
Yeah. It's just
Netflix did that a year prior, where they added ads finally to theirs as well.
Yeah.
Unless you, like you said, unless you paid the extra $2 or whatever the hell it was that they worked it out to.
yeah. I see it this way: if you got ads, like my subscription should be free because you're already making the revenue off the ads. Like that's like
Very true. Very true.
yeah. Like I get what you're doing, and I don't think there's. I mean, I can't assume, right? Like there's gonna be people out there that don't see that, but like, I mean, that would just I don't know. That's just shitty. That's just what it comes down to. That's just shitty. Like if you're gonna have ads, then my subscription should be free. That's just at the end of the day, that's what it should be.
Well, that's the thing. That's the expansion of a product or company at all costs.
Yeah.
And so what happens when you have like the best version of something and you can't expand it anymore? Well,
Right.
you sort of pick it apart, make it less good, and jump up the prices. That always happens with
Yeah.
with with these stuff, right?
Yep.
Z-Chick agrees with
Yeah.
you,
I haven't
Jimmy.
seen anything better come to Netflix, but yet they keep increasing the subscription on that little email that's like, hey, we're gonna raise it up a couple bucks. But why?
Yeah.
Well, I would prefer that than they start putting ads. Honestly,
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
I would rather
Yeah.
pay that Amazon says, look, we need to. Rings of Power is a complete failure. We have to up our subscription because we spend so much money on Rings of Power, and but so we're going to up the prices. Then them saying, well, we're going to put ads now, but don't worry, if you pay extra, now you don't have to have ads. It's somehow, even though the ad thing is probably a better deal. It feels more scummy than the other one.
Yeah.
I know you've talked to us before, JW. But it's like it always comes down to that same thought that I have. Is like, where the fuck are they making money off this shit though? Like really with Game Pass? Like I don't understand how you make, $1 million, whatever, pretty millions of dollars in these games, like let's say Elder Scrolls 6, right? And like you put on Game Pass, it's like somehow you generated a profit more than you would have if someone bought the game. Like I don't get it. I don't get how it can always continue to go on year after year. Like
I think they were very naive. That's what I think. They were
yeah,
very positive in their estimates. Because here's what they were estimating. What they were estimating was every month we're going to have this big major Xbox releases, and it's going to gather some users, and then the user will stay once they see what's on the library and all that. But the reality is, user get in and then they get out. They don't stay on the platform
yeah,
because they come in for the big major thing that they want to try and play, and then the rest. I don't know. I guess the library is not interesting enough, and then they get out. They come in only for the game of the moment, right?
Yep.
exactly, yeah. Like I feel like they should have just kept it at like retro titles. Like it would have been an okay deal, just to play some old retro games and stuff like that. Games like you said before, Jimmy, games like you can't get your hands on, right? That you want to play without switching out the old console. But yeah, the minute they started putting like, I said big titles on there, day one download and all this shit, I was like, man, that makes no sense. Like, I just don't understand how you're going to help those other companies grow that you're partnered with.
Because that's the thing. It's the dream of having a constant stream of money, right? They're expecting users to constantly pay to get that library because they don't own it, and once they stop paying, they don't have access to that library anymore. But they somehow failed to account that people might be okay to not have that library and they just want to try out the new thing. And they
Yeah,
failed to account that with the Epic Store, you get a free game every month. Or on Steam, you get deals that are so good that they're basically $2. So it might as well just own it, right?
Yep.
So they seem to fail to into account all these other companies that have a way of having a low cost, uh, giving games at low cost type of thing.
I was gonna say too, and then on the Super Show Discord there, I was kind of looking. Sorry, I always forget that one dude's name, Animacity or fuck, I can't remember his name is now. You were having a good
Amnestis?
Thank you. Yes, you were having a really good conversation with him about like studios and like the corporate decisions and all that. And like, just curious, like, how do you guys feel about like all those studios that are getting shut down? Is it just the nature of the beast? Like, are you actually upset that those studios got
My own thoughts,
shut
but I'm just
down? Like,
curious
I
what you
have
guys think.
Well, it's both. It's disappointing that Arcane, a good part of Arcane got shut down. The part that did this Dishonored 2, I think, and maybe Prey. I'm not sure, but
yeah,
a good chunk
Yeah.
of that, of Tango Studios as well. They made a various type. I like companies that can make various type of games. They don't always do the same thing, and that was Tango Studio.
Yep.
They made the Evil Within, the what is it called, Tokyo Ghostwire. He made Hi-Fi Rush.
oh
Yep.
A
yeah,
big variation of catalog, which they shut down as well, which is too bad because they were smaller than Arcane and all that. And so yeah, it's too bad, but it's also like you said, the nature of the beast. They made a lot of big acquisitions. They have a giant hole now to fill in with this acquisition. And by hole, I don't mean that they're missing out on money, because Microsoft is one of the biggest company, if not the biggest company in the world. But in terms of this hole must be filled out by the purchase they've made. Basically, they need to show that the purchase was worth it, right? So I think Xbox is having trouble with the expansion. Like I said earlier, I think they were very optimistic about Game Pass, and now they're seeing that instead of having an expansion, they just have a flat line of a stream of money. So it might be a good stream of money, but they're not getting higher. They're not getting.
Yeah, it's not growing.
Yeah, it's not growing, and that's not good for a company.
Yeah, like, I mean, not to keep stroking your ego, JW, but you do have some good points when you bring them up. It's like what you said a long time ago, right? About like just like not, for lack of better words, don't suck hole these big companies. Like when you think back to when this all started, right? Everyone was like, "Oh, poor Xbox, man, they need this win. Just let them buy it." And it's like, okay, now they bought it, and they're doing exactly what a business would do. Like the way I thought of it,
Of course.
yeah, it's like the way I thought of it is like, let's say KFC was like, I want to be the best fucking chicken place out there. So they're buying up Popeyes, they're buying up Mary Brown's, they're buying all these places, right? Do you honestly think they're going to keep those businesses around? No, of course not. They're going to shut them down. But what they're going to do is they're going to take what Popeyes is famous for, they're going to take what Mary Brown's is famous for, they're going to add it into KFC. And now KFC is like the best chicken place in the world. And that's exactly what Microsoft is doing. They're shutting down those studios. It's not that those studios are bad. It's not that Hi-Fi Rush wasn't an amazing game and all this other stuff people are getting so upset about. It's the fact that like, hey, I like what you did in that game, but I think it's going to look a lot better in Elder Scrolls 6. So I'm going to shut you down, take some of your team that's really good at that talent, and add it into this future game that's good. I know is going to generate money, because at the end of the day, just like the chicken analogy, KFC is the king of chicken, right? Pretty well known. Well, Bethesda's pretty well known, so we're going to put all our apples in there. Or Activision's, Call of Duty or whatever is well known, so we're going to put all our apples in that one as well too. Like, I mean, the fact that people are upset about this, but then those same people were like rooting Xbox on 2 years ago, it's like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, like they don't just have like millions of dollars to go like, oh yeah, you stay open and you stay open and you stay open.
I still
also,
feel.
Go ahead, Jamie.
I was gonna say, I still feel like the video game industry was at its best, like for the consumers, when it was still humble.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we get like really good looking, games and stuff now, and that's not to say that there's not really good games that come out now, but I don't know. There's just something about, and maybe I'm just old and in the way, but there's something about, the old games. Like, you got it, you can put it right in. Everything's there in that game. You're not paying for the extra stuff. Like, I don't know. It just, they were daring. They would do crazy things. They would, experiment with stuff and ideas, and they just felt very creative and interesting. They weren't all winners, but it was at least an interesting, interesting time to be alive.
Yeah, you might not have like enjoyed the game fully, but there'd be things about the game that you're like, you know what, that was neat, that was bold, that was different.
Also, it's funny because if you think of Microsoft, they have a history of buying up stuff that gets of buying out stuff and then doing nothing with it. I mean, that's what happened to Skype. That's what happened to a bunch of other software that they've bought. Like they've bought, I think, Atomic, which is a coding software, and they've done nothing with it. They've bought, like they keep doing this, buying stuff, and then either closing them, doing nothing with it, or just I don't know. They have a history of doing that, so it's not. It's like you said, nature of the beast, but it's too bad.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
And like,
And I feel like, and I might be wrong here, but I feel we don't see that as much with Sony. Like, yeah, we've seen them buy stuff, do some layoffs, but I can't remember of an article or something saying, "Oh, Sony closed studios again," or closed this studio, and everybody was bummed out. Like I can remember EA and Microsoft doing that, but not Sony, unless I'm wrong.
No,
Well, I'm trying to
I think
think.
you're right.
The only one
Actually,
I
yeah.
think of was it Japan Studio? Was that like? I mean, I think I can't remember if they like closed that down or whatever, but I thought that was the whole thing. But that wasn't like a recent acquisition and then closed down, so it would be a little different. But that's like really one of the only ones I can think of. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
they buy smaller studio, and there, there's interesting stuff that come out of them. You know, like the video game Returnal is one of my all-time favorite game now,
yeah,
and I'm
and now it has
sure,
co-op.
yeah, and it's probably going, I think, be a cult classic that everybody in like 10 years will look back to it, and then it will get popular again.
Yeah,
But I don't think I think it's going to be called a cult classic. But you know, it was from a smaller studio, and it was published by them, and it was just super interesting and new, really.
right.
I can't think of a game that is similar to Returnal, unless you know take it apart and think, oh yeah, that element is roguelike. Oh, that element is sure, but
Yeah, but it's
you
a
know,
mixture, but it's a creative mixture. So it's not like, yeah, like you could probably get inspiration game, like things that are similar for some aspects, like you're saying, but
yeah.
it's not like the parts as a whole is similar to
Well,
something else.
I can't say, oh yeah, it looks like that game or it plays like that game. Like
Yeah,
I can't think of a game that it's like, and I find Sony are good at managing this of having the big releases and having new stuff come in once in a while. That is very good. You know, Horizon was one of them where
yeah,
it used to be a not known quantity, right? And it came out and it did big, and
yep,
now it's part of their major releases now. You know, it's
yep.
crazy to think, and that's just a how long has Horizon been? Like what, 5 years?
I think so. I think
Yeah,
that's a
something
fair.
like that.
Yeah, that's a fair
It's
guess.
been a while.
Horizon Zero Dawn was 2017,
Ooh,
so
even
eight,
longer.
yeah, 8 to around 8 years, I think.
And it flew by just like that. Oh man.
But yeah, no. So
Yeah,
they've always had that, I guess, recipe, or I don't know. They have the right people that manage. I find compared to Xbox, but I might be
right.
biased as well because I have a PS5.
I mean, I'm definitely, and this goes back years and years, but whenever, like as soon as PS1 came out and I had a PS1, like I was PlayStation for life that day. So, like, I always had like the other systems, always got them and stuff, but like the thing that always got the most use, PlayStation, when the PlayStation 2 came out, which I still wish they had kept going with keeping backwards compatibility, although my original PS3 died when I was playing a PS2 game, so I had to get a new one at the time.
Oh,
Yeah, unfortunately, it overheated. I was playing Shinobi on PS2, and it killed my PS3. One of the OG ones that could play PS1, 2, and 3. Those are fantastic. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've just always like I preferred the controllers.
Yeah,
Like I mean, it's just where I would like if there were games that came out on multiple systems, like that was where I would be able to get it on PlayStation. That
I
was
mean,
just
I did have an Xbox before I had a PlayStation because like my parents didn't see the point of video games, so it was mostly me and my brother buying up the video games with our wallet. So for a long time, I had an N64 while my brother had a PS2. So I touched it times of time, but it was never like my console. So
yeah,
like I don't have an attachment to the PS2 per se.
Right.
So I was Nintendo for a while, then it was the Wii and all that. But at some point I got the 360, and I had a great time with it. It was good until it burnt and melted the graphic cards with the Ring of Death.
Yep.
So
Mine did that too.
so then it was PS4, and I switched to PlayStation, and it's been great since. So I haven't changed back or went back or anything. Like
Yeah.
there wasn't any reason for me to change back, any incentives or games or anything, right?
Yeah. An unpopular opinion, I prefer the sticks being next to each other on the like how the PlayStation is, as opposed to the offset on Xbox. But that's just because probably better. It just feels better in my hands.
I don't mind both.
Yeah.
I don't have a preference really. Although I do find the PlayStation 5 being the best PlayStation controller, especially with the haptic feedbacks, vibration, and all that.
Oh yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
it's a super neat piece of hardware not that people don't talk enough about how well made it is, and I think
Right.
it's because people don't realize or notice the how big this thing is of having these super detailed vibration in your hand for key moments or in
Yep.
certain section of your hands and all that.
Yeah, and like when you get the resistance on the triggers, it's that extra bit, like, you don't think about it, but that extra bit of, immersion when you're, the easiest example is when you're you got a bow, right? And you're pulling back, it's like you feel that on the controller. And it's neat how they do that. It
Yeah,
makes me wonder, like, you know, when we and hopefully it's not anytime soon, but when we get a PS6, like, it'll be interesting to see what they do with the controllers. Whether they like add on to that idea. Maybe now all the triggers will have, or like all the, like L1 and R1 might have some kind of, thing for them. Who knows? It'll be interesting though.
See, that drives me nuts too, because I brought that up with, I think it was you, JW, at one point. But it's like when these consoles get launched, right? They just brag the shit out of these features, and then it's like as we go further along with that generation, it's like the games that come out where these features are being utilized, you don't hear anything. Like your bow analogy, that is the same one I heard when it was launched. It's like we haven't had a single game
Yep.
yet where it's like they can be like, yeah, man. And then when I was fucking shooting the guy, man, that controller feeling was awesome. Like just something, just add something into the fucking marketing, right? When they're advertising these games, like just like obviously it was an important feature to the console. It added to the console's value, or the controller's value, whatever. So yeah, like hype it up, like fucking, say like, yeah, we utilize this. Like I don't know, it's weird.
well, you see, there's this game, The Medium, that
Yeah.
I played, and I didn't know which platform to get it initially, and that haptic feedback thing that they explained and how it was used and all that is what I think sold me in the end to buy it on the PS5. And I'm glad I did, because it they've they've used it a lot in really cool, interesting ways, and I don't think I would have gotten it on any other consoles. That kind of experience that was added with all these vibration and sound that were coming from the controller.
Yep. The
Um,
best use of the controller is still the built-in Astrobot game.
really? Wow.
Yeah. It's honestly, it shows off like all the things it can do, and it just uses it so well. Like, I just know, like, let's say a PS5 falls in your lap one day. I know that you're gonna play that, and you're gonna fall in love, because it is just. I mean, that was the first thing I played on my PS5, because obviously it came with it. So I was like, yeah, why not? That was my first platinum for PS5 because I just enjoyed it that much.
I'll
I mean,
say
it wasn't a
something
typical
though.
platinum either, though.
I'll say something though. If the PlayStation 6 has no disc tray, I don't think I'm buying the next generation of consoles.
No, absolutely not. I I still want them to figure out how to get PS3 games running natively, so that if they're going to offer the service still, like, we don't have to stream PS3 games anymore.
Yeah, they won't do that for sure.
I know.
Actually,
They'll just raise the money, but they don't give you anything more.
I say there's a podcast that's going to shout out with that one. But before I miss it on here, sorry, Sheila. I know you had a hot take, and I don't want to miss the opportunity to shout out for you. So back to your guys' conversations when you were talking about Xbox and PlayStation games, right? Sheila was just saying that Xbox games on Steam are going to on sale all the time, and as soon as you get a good deal, you grab 5 games at once. But PlayStation will add 1 game on and leave it at $70, and then the lowest it goes down to is 30, and that'll be for the next 5 years. So she was saying that's her opinion, at least on the difference between the two of them as far as marketing.
Well,
and
we
all that
better
stuff.
not bring up Nintendo.
Yeah, I know. Fucking $70 for life.
Yep, that's it. Otherwise, nope. Oh man.
But yeah,
I don't know if there were any other like last thoughts you wanted from me, but I do have to go.
no,
Unfortunately,
no worries, Jimmy. I totally get it, buddy. I was mostly just excited to hear your opinion on like the game studios and all that and what you've been up to.
I mean that's fair. But yeah, I mean honestly, it's a bummer that to see like so many layoffs and studios get shut down. But again, like I said earlier, it's a crazy console generation.
Oh
it's
yeah.
it's very. It'll be interesting. I know that they announced that there's going to be like 2 CEOs for PlayStation for Sony.
Yep.
Wow, that's
and
crazy.
we'll have to see how that goes. Hopefully it's better than what it
Oh,
was.
oh yeah, it must be better than Jim Ryan.
Yeah.
Like I can't see it being worse than Jim Ryan.
No.
He was such a dimwit, that guy.
I know. It was like I know I heard someone say this, so it's really not my own I didn't word this myself, but someone was saying like under that like there was a lot of just like being too safe, and I kind of get what they're saying, in a lot of ways. There's not enough risk, not enough like, oh god, I just heard a crazy noise from the bedroom. Sorry, but yeah, like they just we need a shake up a little bit. We need something to we need those guys to make some good decisions for Sony.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
But
thanks, buddy. I appreciate you.
But it's been a pleasure, and I'm sure this won't be the last time. So
Till next time.
Yep. So have a good night, guys. I will talk to you later.
Have a good one, buddy.
Bye.
So I was gonna say just a lot of my references tonight. If you guys didn't get a chance to look at it yet, I definitely recommend the podcast XNC. It's like funny. It's like I could say this because JW is in the same Discord, but like I never really had a big opinion on gaming until like I joined the Super Show, and like I was just hearing all this stuff. Like before that, I was like, "Who's Ubisoft? Like who's this?" I just play games. I don't have fucking opinions, and it's like after getting to know you guys, and it's like I guess my takes on things, really started changing. I was like, yeah, like fuck that company, or yeah, this company's pretty good. 'Cause yeah, you guys just have some really good takes. But anyway, the reason I was saying that is because this podcast I find is really good too. I think they have some solid takes on things. They are obviously heavily focused on Xbox, because that's what makes their bread and butter. But they do talk about PlayStation on there. They do talk about Nintendo. But a lot of the Game Pass conversations that I was taking from, and a lot about this studio shutdowns and stuff like that, they touched on it. Yeah, if you guys enjoy, gaming podcasts and just want like some good takes on things, I highly recommend them. But one of the things they brought up there was actually about the console generations. Which, okay, this one I found a little bit funny, right? So you were saying it too, JW. If the next one launches with no disk drive, like that's the end of it for you. And they were kind of heavily focused on that too. Like this might be the last console generation that we see. But the part that made me laugh a little bit was that they said, yeah, because we don't see any plans in the next 7, whatever it is, next 7 or 8 years for another console. But it's like, yeah, well, why would there be? Like if they're making a current console, they're not going to really be talking about the console after that.
No, it's not the last generation of consoles. Of course not.
I don't think so either.
But
yeah,
it could be the last with the disc tray, and because really, Because here's the thing: the generations that are being targeted are the younger generations from our generation, right? So the teenagers, the kids, the young adults,
Yeah.
and so and they haven't grown up with the whole, you need a console to game type of thing. They've had, you can game on anything really, a phone, Steam Deck, whatever. So the future is portable console. It's just not disc tray, right?
Cool. Yep, I agree.
That's why as well that there's this whole mobile push from Microsoft that they want to try again.
Excellent. Click my camera on. You just got to see a little bit of mindful there. Anyway, um, yeah. As much as I don't want to admit it, I feel the same way. I think physical games are just going to come to an end. And yeah, you summed it up perfectly, JW. I never really, I mean, I obviously it makes sense. I just never really thought of it that way. That yeah, this newer generation hasn't ever, you never had to wait to get something. You know, if you go on the mobile store, you want to play something, it's boom, download it, it's there for you, right? If there's, I mean, fuck, you couldn't find, let's say when you had your N64, right? There's no way in hell you would have found games for like a penny or $1 or whatever the case was, right? And like now you could just buy amazing games at like, $5 or under. It's, yeah.
Well, here's the thing: the Steam Deck proved that you can have a bit pricey but still somewhat affordable portable PC with you,
Yeah.
right? Like it's the most ingenious invention, really. They've just took a laptop and slapped game pads on it, but it's still something that is very good in terms of what you can do with it and all that. And so I expect the future is just more of that, because the consoles, it's hard to make higher consoles the best console you will ever see, and be it at an affordable price, right?
Yeah. Um, that was another one actually they had. I was curious what you would think about it, JW. For me, I don't know. Wouldn't be the end of the world, but one of the takes they had in that podcast I thought was kind of neat was they were talking about video game pricing, right? So obviously it's gone up a lot, but it's still not at the level that it should be at. Like obviously these games are huge and massive, right? And I get it, yeah.
Apparently, but I mean, in Canada, it's like $100 and more. So
Yeah,
I think it's pretty high.
which is so funny too, right? Because one of the guys on there is Canadian, so I was like, "Fuck, where you get your games from, man?" Like, um, hey Juggernaut. But yeah, how would you feel if they started to do more games where it was episodic? Like you don't get the full game at once, but it's at a cheaper value
No,
instead of having like 100-hour games and stuff like that.
no,
No, okay.
just don't make it 100 hour, but be it full. I don't want episodic bullshit. No, I mean, it works with some games that want to give this sort of chapter-based thing, right? Or TV allure type of thing. And for some, it works. It's not a format, I think, that works with everything, though.
I agree because they
And
used.
in the end, I think you'll pay more for each episode than having a full game.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was like too with that. I was like, I don't think they're thinking of the whole picture. I get what they're going for, but you're right. Like, what if it's like 4 or 5 different, games in the end, all for that one major title, right? And they were using Halo as an
Well,
example when that one came out, but I mean, look how Halo did. Like,
Halo as an example.
yeah. Oh, I said they aren't Xbox only. Like, they really try to hype it up. Like,
No, but I mean, look at Hitman. They've already did that, and it honestly turned me off. I didn't know which version to get. because oh well, you have this version with this episode and this episode, but you have this version with these episodes, and then there's with these maps included, and it's stupid.
Yeah, yeah. Juggernaut was kind of agreeing with us on that when he says he likes episodic when it's done well, like Quantum Break or Walking Dead, but it's not good for the massive games. 100%. Can you imagine
Yeah,
Juggernaut
exactly.
if your Kingdom Hearts game was fucking episodic? We would never see the
Well, I
end.
mean, Final Fantasy VII Remake is like that right now,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
and
And
it's fucking annoying.
like that too, right? Like how long in between those breaks, right? When you're waiting for that second game to come out, like shit.
And, yeah, and there's a third one coming, so
Yeah, yeah, no. Like I said, I understand what they were going
that will
for.
probably come out on the PlayStation 6.
Probably at this point, yeah.
But they'll have a in-between DLC just before it.
What's that, Juggernaut? Bro, I'd be pissed, but I mean, technically, it is if you consider multiple games in a series as episodes.
Well, I'm pissed off because they've made a full game before,
Yeah,
and now they're making games and they're selling it as look at all the side stuff you can do now with our game, and this rubs me the wrong way because it feels stretched out when they do that.
totally. Yeah.
Like, look at all that side content that you have. Yeah, but what about the main quest? Oh yeah, that. Well, it's there, but look at all the side content. you know?
I agree. It just it gets so complex for no reason. No, I do. You were talking
Yeah.
about that Juggernaut. I was gonna say, um, a little different though, right? Like, you're talking like full games. Like when you're done Kingdom Hearts 1, you're more than likely were satisfied with your playthrough, right? Now imagine if they broke that up into 4 different games, right? And it's like Halo 2 all over again. If people got upset with that ending, you know what I'm saying? Like you would have an ending that leaves you on a cliffhanger, and you'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. Um, what's there to say to that one? Sorry. Oh yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say. I know you had this take before. But I never got you to really expand on it. And I always think about what you said. When you were referring to big companies like Microsoft and Sony and all that, and you're saying don't get attached to those companies, right? Get attached to the people that make it. And I guess to expand on that idea, how would you go about like supporting those people, like when you say something like that, right? Like in your mind, how do you support like a company like High Five Rush? Let's say they didn't get bought out. Is it like just you mean like just by buying their games? Do you mean like just by supporting the individuals wherever they may travel to? Like, how do you support good game developers?
Um. Oh, it's a good question because some of it you can do, but a lot of it I don't think you can control because it's the marketing
Yeah.
behind it. So, um, by what I meant is don't attach yourself to Sony or to Bethesda or to companies, because companies they just make products for you to buy. They want your money. They do these products. That's their purpose. That's what they will always be, no matter what they say. If they say no, we're different here, whatever, it could be true at that moment, but jump 10 years and all the people have changed and it's different.
100%.
So
Yeah.
that's the problem with companies. They change over time. They don't always follow through. They'll always end up in the trap of disappointing customers and decisions making and having different people leading the brand and all of that.
Yeah. And like
So instead, yeah,
no, I was gonna say, and to back up your point, it's Xbox, right? Like they proved that through many different podcasts I've watched now, right? But like they were saying, like last year there was all this positive talk, and now this year we're getting studios shut down. Like you're right, like things change so quickly. Um, and they came across very sympathetic, right? Like, oh yeah, we're not gonna hurt these businesses. We're gonna look after them. They're our babies. It's like, no, no, they're not.
Yeah, well, it's basically you let the wolf inside the bacon barn, right?
Yep.
Like the pigs with the houses. You just let him let the wolf in, because Xbox that always rubs me the wrong way. Because Xbox always act like they're this small company that just wants to. There's they always act like they're this bigger company, but they're actually with the people, right? They're the company with the people that want to help and blah blah blah. Then they gobble up and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry about that." So,
It's so true. Yeah, it's like they play the victim card, right? Like it's so ridiculous
yes,
at times.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so I know they annoy me in that sense. So to get back to my point, so instead of attaching yourself to companies and buying into what a company will sell you, buy into the people behind it. So meaning the vision behind it. Look who is the creative director, the game designer, the art director. All these people uh, are the people that designed your game. They're the ones that because the company only sells the game. The people are the one that made the game. So I think that's why indie games as well get more and more attention, because it's filled with passionate people, but also because you see these people if you follow them more so than a AAA company, right? You see the what they do, what they say, and you can more easily attach to them, I think.
Yeah, like I said, like that's why I like your take on that one. Like in all honesty, when you said it to me that day, I was like, "Shit, man, he's right." Like I am that sucker too. Like I was like, "Oh yeah, Bethesda's fucking awesome. Bethesda does this." And when you said it, I was like, "Yeah, he's right." Like it wasn't fucking Bethesda. It's not like the CEO was down there, like making these games. He had say in all that, right? But you're right. It's the people behind the scenes that actually um, put those titles together, like Morrowind or Oblivion, whichever one you fell in love with. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the video game industry, there's a lot of employees, and they keep changing companies. They don't stay in one place. So it's normal to have different having companies having different takes on the same project.
Yeah. Like I said, I just brought that up because I was just thinking of everyone's like upset, right? With I sorry to keep bringing up a Hi-Fi Rush. That's the quickest one I could think of. Because it's in the same breath too. Let's say Tango Studio was never purchased, right? And they were on their own. And you could buy those games and support them. But you're right. Like eventually, the people that might have made that Hi-Fi Rush may not be the same people making Hi-Fi Rush too, right? Like regardless how the beast turned out, eventually um,
I
yeah,
Here's the thing. I think making games is hard, money consuming, and it's volatile.
yeah,
There's a lack of security. So I think these companies, they think we'll have great security, we'll have all the time and money now to complete what we have to do. But they don't think that I don't think they ever think that, oh, we might get closed down by the people that buy us, right? Or that we will lose control, or all of these aspects. And
yeah.
so I think Tango Games would have gotten bigger if they haven't been bought by Xbox. You know,
Oh
if
yeah,
they would have kept with their lineup of games. Like imagine if Hi-Fi Rush, it wasn't like, I don't know how much money they've made for that, because it's hard to say with Game Pass and all that. But
exactly, right? Yeah, yeah. It's how do you gauge that success from that?
because Tango Games seem to be getting more and more attention as time went on, right? And but now it's dead.
And it's
And
like,
I have a feeling it wouldn't have happened if they wouldn't have gotten bought by them.
for some companies, like you said, it might just be they're good on their own, right? But they went for that option because like, hey, I'm gonna get like endless money to make my games. Or for other companies, it might have just been like a last resort. Like I kind of feel like that was the thing for Bethesda, right? Like, um, reality being, I mean, after fucking Skyrim, they should have been fine on their own, right? But obviously, they money banked on that
Well, I
one.
mean, they made Fallout 76. I mean, what else is there to say?
But yeah, like obviously it was like, hey, it's either I watch my company, go down the shit, or I let Microsoft buy me and I give my company a second win, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, because after Fallout 4, it really went downhill for them.
Yeah, there really wasn't anything that came out other than 76. And yeah, unfortunately that wasn't
But even when Fallout 4 came out, I think a lot of people were taken aback at the lack of choices and these usual narrative mechanics you have in this game, right? And I think it got more favorable with time when people started to understand how the game actually worked.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. I'm glad someone else remembers that, because all now I hear is like, man, Fallout 4 was game of the year. And like, yeah, this is all true. But you're right. When Fallout 4 first launched, it wasn't exactly the most popular game in the world. And people seem to think it was like a banger right from the get go. And it's like, no, it wasn't actually.
Well, it's because if you look at the old reviews, of course, the main journals all gave it a 9 out of 10, even though it wasn't very playable in most parts of the game.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, oh, where there's this problem. I went through the map, and there's some places where it runs at 3 FPS, but it's a 9 out of 10 game. You're like, okay, but that's not possible. That's not possible.
It's the charm of it all.
Oh, I lost my save and couldn't progress, so I didn't finish it, but not a 9 out of 10.
And I'm so sorry, Juggernaut. I saw you hop on, buddy. How's it going?
Bro, I haven't had a chance to pop in. Y'all have been at it.
Hey, man, this is a good topic this time.
How y'all doing?
Not too bad. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing all right. I was gonna say, because you mentioned that like Hi-Fi Rush got bought out by what, Microsoft? Is that what you said?
Yes, it did.
The people who made Hi-Fi Rush?
Yeah, Tango Games.
Well, I was gonna say there's there's also like the opposite of that too, like with what was it? Not was it Capcom that made it was either Capcom or Konami that made the Metal Gear Solid games, right?
Yeah.
The company that published it. Yeah. Well, the person who actually made it, like Hideo Kojima, was the guy who left them. So it can go the other way too. Like Hideo Kojima left their company and he made his own. So there's also like, the opposite situation of that.
That's a bit different though, because Konami wasn't interested in video games anymore. They were mostly interested in pachinko machines and stuff like
what?
that.
That's also true. It's crazy now. Whenever I go inside of a casino and I see all the Konami machines, it's insane.
Yeah.
Is that why they split up? Because
It is.
Wow, that's wild. Okay.
No, the
that's
reason
not
why
why.
was
Oh, I was like, Jesus.
yeah, the reason why is because Hideo Kojima didn't get his freedom anymore. They didn't want to control him, and he's like, no, I want to make games the way I want to make them, and they were like, no, and he's like, okay, fine, I quit.
That's awesome. What a bull ass move. I love it.
Well, you see,
And then they made Death Stranding.
Well, you see, that's what I meant by attach yourself to the artist. Hideo Kojima is one where people were able to attach to the artist and not the company.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, that's true, eh? Like, minus him, I can't think of many other people that get hyped up as much.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's fucking overhyped, but I mean, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, though, that people should do.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. Yeah.
Even though he gets mentioned too much by Jeff Keighley.
Oh, totally. Right. Sorry, Jugs. Did any other topics though? Did you have any other opinions? Did you get a chance to share?
No, I just popped in. I was gonna talk, and then you guys didn't stop talking, so I didn't have a chance to even pop in.
Well,
but also as
now
Prison
you know how
Gamer
it's
and
on your
Django are
stream,
talking
though.
about, they're mentioning the what?
I just throw a little shade. It's okay. No worries. I said now you know what it's like to be on your streams, my friend.
I'm sorry, dang, man. Dang. Getting called out over here.
Just kidding. What's up, buddy?
I was mentioning also there's like Gaming with Django and Prison Gamer are talking about this Drakengard, which was made by Yoko Taro, right?
Yes,
Okay.
Yoko Taro
this
is
thing-
awesome.
Yeah, awesome, very awesome. But then there's also people like that stay with like a company like Square Enix. You know what I mean?
Sure. But
Yeah.
still, it's more his name that comes out through his projects, though, than here's
Yeah.
a Square Enix game.
Yeah, no, that's true. I was just saying there's also things like that too, because they're talking about like Drakengard, so Square Enix is a top tier producer aside from Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy 15. This game's garbage.
It's true that Square Enix has become very scummy along the years.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like EA too. Like EA, they used to make fun games like Dante's Inferno, but now they have all their loot boxes with or not loot boxes, but like I guess that sort of strategy with like the Madden games and all that jazz. I hate it.
Sure.
I didn't like follow anything with Square Enix, but like, was there like a change in leadership? Is that why it got more scummy, or was it just
I don't know.
they saw the
I don't know
money?
when it started, actually.
I think it started with Final Fantasy 14 when they started making a lot of money, and they were like, "Hey, we can make a lot of money." And then they made Final Fantasy 15. Have you guys seen how many advertisements there are in Final Fantasy 15?
No.
Yeah.
It's insane, Mindful.
Wow.
So like, just for example, this is one example that you have to set up a lot of camps inside the game, right? To restore like your HP, MP, and then to eat food, etc. The tent is sponsored by Coolman. The grill is sponsored by it's a famous grill company. I can't think of what it is. And then like the tables were sponsored by this thing, the chairs were sponsored by this thing, and you can see sponsorship ads all over the place just every time you camp. And there's stuff like that throughout the entire game.
Although
It's
I don't know,
insane.
I don't know how
Wow.
much is them being scummy or because the project took like for so many years and got
That's
through
true,
so
too.
many iterations that it cost them so much as well.
That's true too.
So what have you been playing, Mr. Juggernaut? I haven't had you on here in a long time. What have you been up to, gaming wise?
Oh, I've been playing lots of things on my own time. I just played and finished Quantum Break. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, right.
Started playing some Celeste. Man, putting me on the spot like this, I've got bad memory. I played Blasphemous, Dead Cells. That's all I've been up to. I've been doing a lot of college stuff. This is finals week, so once I'm getting this settled, I'm gonna be going back to streaming full gear, which would be a lot of fun.
Is there any games you want to like stream, like when you come back? Like anything in particular you're excited to play?
Dude, I want to play Stellar Blade so bad, but I can't
Oh,
afford it.
Oh yeah.
It's totally worth it though. Like
Yeah,
I'm
it
having
looks
a
like
blast.
it is.
And for now, it would be my game of the year right now.
Dude, I want to play it so bad.
So
And then
Marie,
actually, do you guys want to
if-
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Marie, if you're in chat, I hope you heard that. Just want to throw a little love to the Juggernaut.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
Dang.
Forcing Marie to buy stuff.
I only say this because
Actually, do you guys want to hear what I got for my birthday?
what'd you get?
Okay, I got an Xbox One S with 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is sick.
Wow.
And I got a stand mixer.
Ooh. Like,
A
was
stand mixer.
that from friends or family, or was that from just like people that watch you? 'Cause I know you get
One was from
variety.
somebody on Amazon, and then the Xbox was from my family.
Oh, that's
So
nice.
hi Z, check you. Haven't seen you in ages. Hope you're doing well.
I said because if you guys don't know, Juggernaut gets a lot of cool gifts from his viewers as well. That he's unboxed a few times.
Yeah, I've gotten so many things, and it's so awesome. I've got so many random gifts in my room. Like, somebody sent me a pop figure of myself. Like, you know, the little pop figures.
Of you?
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
there's a way that you can make like a pop yourself, and then you add on all the stuff to make it. Well, somebody made one for me and sent it to me. I've got random things all over my room like that, and it's sick.
That's so cool, man. Wow.
I know, it's really cool. I've gotten so many random gifts over the years, but I oh my god, I absolutely love it.
As I say, so minus Stellar Blade, was there anything else that caught your eye this year that you wanted to play, or has that been the main focus?
Coming out in, I believe, 9 days is Hellblade 2.
Oh yeah.
And I am unbelievably excited to play that, although I won't be doing that one on stream, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, that's been a long time. I'm interested to see what happens with this.
Okay, out of
Because
curiosity.
the first
Yeah,
one
I'm
was
really
very
excited for it.
good and pretty much had a definitive ending. And like, I'm not sure where this is going.
That was another like interesting take someone had. Do you guys think this is the game that's gonna make or break Xbox? Because a lot of people are putting that
No.
on this game. No, I don't think so either. I'm surprised that people think this is like this will determine if Xbox will live, and it's like I don't think so, but okay.
No,
To
not at
be
all.
fair, though, did you ever play the first one, Mindful?
No, sadly, I need to get my.
It's
ass
very
on that.
good.
Dude,
Definitely worth it.
100% worth it. It's an insane experience, and I mean that in the most literal of ways.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding, man. It is a trip, but it's so awesome.
Yeah, I gotta try it. I know a lot of people hype that game up. I'm really interested in just what I've heard, just like the mental health.
If you have
stuff,
Game
yeah.
Pass,
I do.
yeah, no matter what is covered for sure. If you have Game Pass, it's there, and Sacrifice is going to be there day one. The second game.
Yeah, is the first one already on Game Pass or not?
Yes,
It is. It is. Yeah, you should do that, Michael.
Yeah.
Make it a stream.
There's literally no excuse Mindful has, but
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. Do it.
In fact, how much time do you have tonight, Mindful?
hey, I got to finish Persona 3. This is my promise to Jimmy.
Oh no! It's going to take forever. You won't ever play Senua then.
I know.
Also, I told Marie what you said, and Marie has given me strict instructions to tell you that you should buy me Stellar Blade.
Fair enough, Marie. Fair enough. Speaking of getting money, though, how's the old Patreon doing there, Juggernaut? I haven't heard any updates from you on that one.
I haven't posted in a hot minute, but it is giving more income than my kick at the moment.
Oh,
good job, buddy.
Which is awesome. But at the same time, I also haven't streamed in what feels like years.
Yeah.
I said you got.
Speaking of streaming, did you see that I got Marie to start streaming?
Did she actually stream?
Well,
She streamed quite a few times now. It's pretty sick.
what?
Oh fuck yeah! What the hell?
Y'all have been missing it.
Marie, what? Yeah, where's the advertisement,
wanted-
girl? Like,
Yeah.
I know. I told her to, and she's like, "No, wait for me to become a big streamer." And I'm like, "No, don't do that. You do this to
No.
become a big streamer."
yeah, she already is a big streamer.
I wanted to see it. I told her I wanted to see it.
Yeah, see,
She's been streaming Diablo 4 with me.
Oh, I'm pissed, Marie. I'm pissed. I thought we were friends. What is
Yeah,
this?
it's pretty sick. I made
I
her
feel
overlays
betrayed.
and I made her
know.
alerts. It's pretty sick.
I feel betrayed.
See, yeah, so I got her
I
that.
totally am actually.
Okay.
I'm going around Discord right now and telling her I feel betrayed.
Me too.
That's funny.
I know you haven't played it, Jugs, so I wasn't sure how long you want to stay on here, but I was going to let JW give out his game review, but I'm sure there might be some Stellar Blade stuff in there. So, are you okay with that, or do you want us to hold off a little bit?
No, I'm leaving then. Can't be having spoilers on Stellar Blade, my guy.
I won't spoil.
No, he won't spoil. He'll just, he's just going to
Yeah,
tell you
yeah.
his thoughts and opinions. That's all.
Yeah. I can't do that without spoiling.
Okay, all right, I believe you. But I swear to God, JW.
He's like, so first thing that happens.
Right.
So,
So the end of the game is this. No.
so I'm really pissed out at that last level where the main character dies. No, I don't. I'm
Okay.
joking.
All right.
I
Well.
haven't
Okay.
reached
All
the end.
right.
I'm joking. I haven't reached the end yet.
Mindful. Who is this clown that you have inside this voice chat with us?
The legendary JW, of course.
Legendary. No, I haven't reached the end. I don't know how close I am, for real. Because there's a lot of side content to be done that is fun, and that I have been doing. Because I want to because you keep unlocking, costumes and stuff that I really like, and so I feel like I'm a bit over half of the game, or close, maybe close to the end, but I don't think I'm there yet.
Before the game came out, I heard something interesting about the game. So somebody grinded inside the demo to get all the skills and stuff unlocked,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of people who were like, "Okay, I've seen all the skills now. I'm not going to buy the game. That's all I really wanted to play it for, anyways." And I'm like, "Man, that
It's stupid.
sucks." And
No,
then
It's
Yeah.
stupid if they do that, because there's
it is stupid.
there are a lot of skills that are not in the demo that you
Well, first off,
unlock
that's cool.
later in the game, and
First
like
off, that's cool.
not
Go
just
ahead.
no, but not just like combo skills, like super skills, other super type of skills, super duper stuff, without going into spoilers. And no, there's a lot to it, and it really expands heavily over the demo. The demo is just a fraction of what you can do.
Which is pretty sick. But I saw that to remedy that, the people who created the game added an entirely new skill tree at a certain point. I don't know if you saw it or not, so I'm not going to say anything aside from that. But they added one just to make sure that people would not quit out on the game on day one for their day one patch, which is pretty sick.
I don't know about that.
I won't tell you when or where, though,
Okay.
so not to spoil anything.
Okay. Well, like I said, I don't know. Right now, I've had multiple new skill tree that I've unlocked along the game, and some that are linked to story, others no. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But so my thoughts on it is it's very good, awesome action title that is very original in its gameplay, and even there are a bunch of small activities to be done just to unlock a chest,
Mhm.
there's a variation of that as well. It's not like, oh, here's another one where I have to walk on the switch and this opens. Every time there's a variation of different ways of just unlocking a chest, and it's like that for every activity that is in the open world. There's a lot of open world because it opens up later on. It starts off like linear, like a linear level, and later on it opens up with open level areas that are very nice, very tightly packed with stuff to do.
Would you consider it open world, or is it still linear fashion?
No, it's open for sure.
Oh,
Like there
it lost the
are.
point for me.
It depends of the it depends of the level. There's like 2-3 levels that were, and I haven't again went through everything, so I don't know how many levels there are. But for now, there are 2-3 levels that are linear, and 2-3 levels that are open. So it's half and half, pretty much.
Okay.
So I hope this is okay
And
to ask. It's not going to ruin anything for you, Juggernaut. But I'm out of curiosity. When you guys talk about like all these skills in the skill tree and all that, do you find that there's a pretty good like variety, like variance, sorry, between them all, or does it feel like some of them are kind of pointless? Because usually you have like a lot
No,
of
they're
different.
all useful.
They are okay. Because usually when you have like a game that gives you lots like that, some of them are like, okay, I don't even ever see me using this or whatever. So yeah, I was just curious.
I mean, I will say it depends how far you want to go with this. They're all useful, but I don't see the average user using them all.
Okay.
Because there are very specific types of moves. For example, if you parry something and then press square, it does a sort of comeback attack, right?
Okay.
But
Oh my god,
then,
I tried to do that a billion times in the demo, but I could not do it to save my life.
well, as you progress through the game, you will unlock ways of doing these better, and there are items to help you
Okay.
with these windows. But so yeah, so I think, let's say this attack I just described, I think everybody would easily use that one, right? But there are variation of that attack where you go square, then triangle plus round. I think this people won't go that far, but it's a very useful skill to do that one as well, while being very cool. If you see what I mean. So there are base moves that I see people use, and there are extended moves of those base moves that I don't see the average user do,
Yeah.
or that they'll forget, or
I was gonna say
you know.
I liked how you kind of took Jimmy off the track there when he was like, "Oh, it's not gonna be like Tekken or like that." And you kind of just were like, "Well, play a little more."
Because the demo really don't um
Like it doesn't
the
do it
demo
justice,
really
eh?
don't. No, it shows a good amount, I would say, for sure, for if you want to dip your toe into it, but there's a lot more that comes out, because even if your trees, like the some of the trees gets extended, like it's not always an unlocked tree. Some of the trees get extended with extended moves that are unlocked later that you was not shown in the demo. So um I think people should watch videos if they're scared that about the moves that were shown in the demo. They should watch videos of the actual game to get an idea of what the moves are, if they want to spoil themselves, of course.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this game goes throughout the year. I think
It also has one of the only fishing games that is exciting.
I know that's crazy. That it actually has that in there too.
Yeah, and it's really exciting, and you really have to press a bunch of buttons, go around, reel in, continue to press, and it's hard. It's not just you wait and then you put a joystick up and it's yours, right?
Yeah, because that's such a basic mechanic that most of them use mostly.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, how about
it's very well designed.
how about your other adventures you've been going on there, JW? Have you gone back to Dragon's Dogma 2 or Atomic Heart?
No,
No, it's been Stellar
no,
Blade.
it's Stellar Blade all the way. Yes,
That's
The
I
man's found his game.
that's
for
actually
sure.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I thought for sure you'd be all about
no.
Dragon's Dogma 2.
Well, I was until Stellar Blade,
Yeah, wow.
and so it's more than a visually good-looking game. That game, it's very well designed. My only problem with it for now, I would say, it's the writing. The writing is not that good, and it might be because I have the game on dub. The voices are not the original voices,
Oh, okay.
because I don't want to, because it's a Korean game, but I'm playing it in English, and because I don't want to have to read subtitles while I fight, right? I'll just it's I cannot concentrate on both.
That's true. Yeah, that would be difficult.
So it might be because of that, but I find the writing and the characters not that interesting in general. but the story is interesting and enough, to keep you going. It's not bad or anything, but it's not great either for now. But I think it's mostly the characters that are lacking, because the universe and the story is interesting to follow.
Okay, it might be a little
But
too early for you to give like a good answer for this one, but I am a little curious, right? Because I think before Stellar Blade, the company was just like focused on mobile games, wasn't that it? Like this is their first like
yeah,
this is their first big launch, right? So now that you got to like test the waters with a game like this, what else would you like to see that company like make next? Now that you kind of got an idea of their mechanics and their ideas as far as gaming goes. Would you like them to continue like a game similar to Stellar Blade, or would you like them to branch out to something different that you think they would do really well on?
well, like I say, I think it's too early to know, and they haven't had other hits under their belt, right? It's their first
Yeah.
game, so it's hard to say. I think what would have been perfect, I think, is a mix between them and Yoko Taro, because there's a lot of influence
Oh.
from his Nier Automata game, right? It's just the writing for Nier Automata is so much better. So I wish that they made a game together. I think that would be my answer.
That's a good shout.
Because
Yeah. Wow.
here's the thing with Yoko Taro. He's really cool and he has very interesting way of designing his games, but they're not always fun to play in general. And in terms of fun to play, Shift Up, Stellar Blade is much better. It does everything right in terms of putting hidden object collectibles, variation of activities to do that aren't repetitive, and so I would like them to do together to do a game together, and they're both fan of each other's game. That's very funny because they
That is pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow.
because
Yeah.
they've had an interview together, him and Shift Up, and the director of Shift Up. I can't remember his name, and Yoko Taro kept saying that Shift Up's games was better, and of course the other guy was saying no, of course not. Like he's a big fan of Yoko Taro, and he was like, no, your game is better. So, and in some sense they're both right. In some sense, Stellar Blade does a lot of stuff I think better than Nier Automata in terms of maybe the enemies and some of game design choices. But Yoko Taro does a lot of things better than Stellar Blade as well. So I think a game made by these two would be awesome.
Yeah, that's a really good shout. Actually, that would be a really wicked game.
So beside all the controversy, yes, and stupid controversy that was not needed, this game is awesome.
Yeah. I know. It was so fucking pointless, in all honesty.
Yeah, I mean, let's be fair. Is she sexualized? Yes, there's a lot of revealing costumes, and when I say revealing, I mean extremely revealing for no reason. Like you'll have a normal costume, and somehow it's almost like if someone passed with scissors on it in all sorts of weird places that it shouldn't be, right? Or there's some costumes that I think design-wise, visually, would have been better if it was more covered, more covered up, and not as much revealing, right?
yeah.
But it's also so minuscule compared to the grand scale of what they've accomplished with this game.
Yeah, it's not like it's the first game ever to, have a girl wear those kind of outfits, right? Like we said before, Bayonetta
Well,
and stuff.
that's the thing. Bayonetta does so much worse,
Yeah, it's like
but but nobody talks about that. I mean, she fucking plays BDSM moments with the monsters,
It's pretty
and
funny though.
yeah, and she does moves and get naked because her hair disappears from her body. So I mean, let's not let's not play favorites here. Let's put all the cards on the table. You want to talk about sexualization and how Eve is sexual, blah blah blah. There are so much worse
Oh
out
god,
there.
yeah. I mean, I told you guys my story, right? You go all the way back to the PS1 Tomb Raider. 90% of the people that bought it were guys that just were fucking in love with those triangle boobies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember, like I said before, I loaded that game up, and my fucking like male family behind me, my uncles and all that, were behind me going like, "Oh man, yeah, make her jump, make her jump." Like, you know, just
Oh my
like fuck. It's just that's
gosh.
just you know, like it's just how it is sometimes. Like,
So, well, I think it's because we've made some progress in terms of sexualizing women
yeah,
and that there's a history of it. So then this might seem for some as a regression, right, of that
that's true.
and of that progress.
Yeah.
Um, but also
I'm just trying to think like how
it's
long ago.
possible that it's just not for you,
Yeah, because I'm trying to think like how long ago
and
was
that's
Bayonetta
okay.
3, like or whatever. Like,
Also, I hate to jump in. I gotta head out.
no worries, no
Sure.
worries, buddy. I appreciate you hopping in.
I love you guys. You guys are all like super cute. Bye.
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 Have a good one, buddy. Sorry, Sheila was trying to show us there on the Discord chat, and she made a comment on here. She was shouting out Contraband. Contraband is a co-op smuggler's paradise set in a fictional world of 1970s. Avalanche Studios and Xbox Game Studios made. I don't think I've ever heard of that game, Sheila.
Yeah,
Oh,
me neither.
yeah, I'll have to check that out then if you're recommending it. But yeah, sorry. So other than Stellar Blade for gaming, how's the rating world going? Is there any updates you want to tell people?
No.
No. Yeah.
Oh, I've been getting sick and
That's
being
true.
super occupied with work, so it's been hard to get the stuff in. But I am close to, I guess, finishing that story that I've been publishing on Wattpad.
Oh yeah.
So there's just a couple of chapters left, and when I mean a couple, I literally mean a couple, 2, probably. So I should have the whole thing soon, finished soon, and that's the teen horror story that I was talking to you about, right?
Yeah.
So I'm almost done with that, and that's the only update really.
Have you oh sorry, Sheila was just saying that the game was brand new. It hasn't come out yet. Okay. I'll have to check that trailer out. I honestly didn't hear anything about that game. Um I was gonna say now that you got like 4 of those oh okay, sorry. Sheila was just adding on a point. Oh yeah, she was saying which is rude and how they womanize women. Um, yeah, no. I get what you're saying, Sheila. Like we were saying, right? I'm giving my PlayStation 1 analogy, right? This was way back in the day, right? We've come a long way since then. But I get it. I get why those outfits could be the same way. But I mean, in the same breath too. Just to say, right? Like we look at guys in video games too, right? And they're obviously a little bit exaggerated, right? Like it's not like we're all walking around with no shirt on and fucking big buff chest, massive sword on us and all this stuff, right?
But here's the thing, though, with Stellar Blade, and now that Juggernaut is not there, there's a reasoning that actually in Stellar Blade that these characters are so, let's say, uh, super well made, right? Super sexualized, super whatever.
Oh, okay.
In an in-game world, and in terms of even in the way they talk, it's different than the people on Earth,
Oh, okay.
and it's all part of the universe of why she's made the way she is, and in this sort of perfect doll kind of way, right?
And like they do a pretty good job, like with the lore and like all that, like tying all those little tidbits in,
Yeah,
or does it feel like it's just
in
kind of like
terms
slapped in?
no, in terms of lore and in terms of lore and details, it's super interesting to go through.
Okay,
Like I said, it's mostly the character writing dialogues that I find is not great at times.
okay, that's not too bad then. I mean, obviously, yeah, story you wanted to go forward, but it's nice that the lore they actually put some time and thought into.
Yeah, the story is interesting, but it's mostly the characterizations, I
Yeah,
think. And there are themes and stuff that you can look at. Like I previously said, I think in a previous podcast, like just look at their names. There's
yeah,
Eve, your character, and Adam is your companion, right? So there's a link there to be made in terms of allegories and stuff like that you can do, and that there's a lot of stuff about religion and the role it plays and in society, and there's a lot of interesting stuff.
what I really like about it, though, in all honesty, is kind of the same thing I liked about hearing your conversations with Dragon's Dogma 2, is it's almost like every time I get to hear either from you or a podcast or wherever it is about Stellar Blade, there's almost like another little layer to that onion that's being unfolded. You think you know everything about the game, and like I said, then last time I was kind of shocked with the Matrix references, and like as conversations with you, like it's always feel like there's something new that there's another reason basically to buy that game and play this game. um
Well, there are a lot of references. It's part of the references, allegories, allusions. They all make up part of the story that makes it interesting. And I don't want to say too much. That's why I haven't said
oh yeah,
this,
no,
or I haven't explained why Eve is made the way she's made, and all the characters like her, because she's not the only airborne squadron character. Since she comes from the sky, people call her Angel, right?
yeah,
And so she's not the only one that way, and so they're all so the people like her are made in a specific way, and compared to these humans. So there are reasonings behind it that I think I might have already said too much. So
no, but that's what I'm saying. We were talking about Dragon Dogma 2, right? Like you were like one episode, I think we were just talking, and you were telling about the environmental factors, right? That can add in, like you can destroy that wall, and the water will knock this guy down. And then another time we were just talking about that if you see a cave or whatever in the distance, you could go to that cave. Like that's what I mean, and that's kind of how it feels with Stellar Blade right now. It's like every time I hear a new conversation, there's something more interesting about that game. So yeah, just I'm just excited for both of those. I think that is the right direction for any game to go into. If you can have
but
a conversation, that conversation keeps growing with that game. Like there's just more and more you're finding out. You're doing what's right. Like that's the
well, the
best.
thing that's cool is that it's not only an extremely well-made game or combat, is that it's a very well-designed game as well. You have a variation of moments in the game where you don't just hack and slash your way. Like I don't want to say what happens, but there are parts where you do other stuff, you do puzzles, you do different stuff where it changes the way you interact or do combat in certain moments.
That's cool. I like that. Sorry,
Yep.
Sheila was just adding on there. So the Contraband game she was sharing, she was saying that one is going to be the first exclusive that Xbox is bringing back. So okay, so Contraband was an older game before this one you were showing us, Shelly, Sheila. Sorry, God, I always mix you and Shelly up. I don't know why. Um,
I don't know why either.
Well, because I have this kid. I have a regular customer, and her name is Shelly. And then, like I said, like the minute I met Sheila, we started talking. When she would come into the store, I'd be like, "Hey, Sheila." She's like, "It's Shelly." I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm doing that." And now I'm doing the opposite on this end. Um,
I think it's less problematic than with your customer.
I know, right? It's so true. Okay, sorry, was there when you hit? And then you said on the rumor on the pod. Oh, sorry, the rumors in the podcast you shared. That they're making a Terminator game that Xbox is working on. Yeah, even before that podcast though, there's been talk about a Terminator game for a little while now. I feel. I don't know if that one's actually going to end up coming out, or if it's just going to be one of those games that we just constantly hear about and nothing happens.
I mean, there's already a Terminator games that exist.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I don't know, made by who? Like, why?
Yeah, it's
Like, I feel Terminator is one of those old series that refuses to die, but that should die or stop. I don't know anybody other under our generation that knows or like Terminator.
Yeah, the only thing that I guess would be fun to play as a Terminator game would just be if you could be in the future where they took over and just like muck
Well,
around.
that's Terminator Resistance,
Oh,
made
is
by the
it?
people that made the RoboCop game. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, okay. Well, never mind then. I guess it's already out there. Because yeah,
Yeah.
I was trying to think what part of Terminator would I actually be interested in playing in? And that's the only title I could see. I wouldn't want to do like just running away from one guy, because that would be very similar to Resident Evil, right? With Mr. X and Nemesis. It would have that same feeling, except it'd be
Yeah.
a T-1000 or whatever.
Sure. I mean, that could be something.
Okay, and sorry, Sheila, what else did you say there? Xbox needs to go back to exclusives. Xbox has not made an exclusive game in years beside racing ones.
They haven't made good exclusives. That's the problem.
Yeah, like they had a few exclusives, haven't they, recently?
Like, they haven't made hits like Horizon or something, right?
No. What I was thinking about too? I don't know how you feel about it, JW, but it's crazy to think, and I know the reason this thought came to my head was because I watched a short recently where the guy that does like Master Chief's voice, it was just like a fan service thing, I guess he was doing, Comic-Con or wherever the hell it was. But anyway, he went on there and he's like, I need a gun, like his fucking famous line. I was like, man, that's so badass. I love Master Chief. And then I thought about it, I was like, you know what? No, I only got excited over Halo 2. Once Halo 3 hit, I don't know what it was that knocked me off of it, but it's like, how do I say this? Master Chief was like the fucking shit. You know what I mean? Like Halo was it. And it's so weird to think about that we got a Halo game a few years ago, and like it would have made me want to buy an Xbox. It didn't make me want to go out and buy that Halo game. Like I totally lost that passion and that like fire to play Halo. Yeah.
For sure, me too.
Yeah, it's
Because Halo 4 all the way to now is shit.
yeah, it's just
It's that simple.
it's like, how did you fuck? Like, I'm trying to think, like, honestly, like, how did you fuck up that franchise so bad?
But especially the problem with the last Halo is your idea that you were talking about, releasing a game in parts. That's what they did. They released just the multiplayer first, or they released the single player but with nothing else. Then they started progressively releasing stuff. When the multiplayer came out, there were just a couple of maps compared to when Reach was released that had at least 10 or more maps, right?
Yeah,
And
that's true.
so they released in parts, and it just I was disgusted with the state of the game they released when they released it,
Yeah,
and I never went back to it.
like normally I wouldn't like base my entire opinions off reviews. I usually would play the game myself, but yeah, that one just got hit hard week after week, and it was just like the more you heard, the more it was like, man, this game fucking dropped the ball so bad.
Yeah, and they also had a problem where some people would lose their save file. That didn't help. Like, there was a heavy crash that would lose your save file, and but yeah, no, that's we were talking about releasing stuff episodically. That's what they've basically done.
Yeah, yeah, that was exactly what they did. I was trying to think too. The other big flop that they did on that one was the co-op. That was it. They didn't have
Oh yeah,
they didn't have,
yeah, for sure.
like
The first Halo to have no co-op.
yeah, like what a idiot move that was. Oh,
Well, there's no more co-op anymore. It's dead.
the best.
Or couch co-op, I should say.
I know, and that's such a shame. Like fuck, man, couch co-op
Yeah.
is the best.
I mean, I'm obligated to buy an older console that has games with couch co-op to get couch co-op. It's stupid.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
So I've been doing that as well. You were asking me about what else I was doing actually. I've been playing these N64 games here and there.
that's true. Yeah,
So playing with my wife, with Mario Party, Kirby, and a couple of those games, and playing the single player of Conquer during my lunch breaks here and there.
hell yeah.
Yeah, and I love that game. I mean, I wasn't able to. I can't do it this week, but playing Conquer was great, and it's still great. I mean, it puts me in a good mood when I play it. Just the music and just the stupidness of it all is just great.
That's pretty impressive for a game that's it's that old, and it's not like your nostalgia is hyping it up, right? Like you actually went back into it old school style, and it's still as good as you remember. Like that's fantastic.
Well, it could be nostalgia, but the thing is, I think the reason, because like I played GoldenEye as well, and that did not hold up.
Oh yeah,
Like
no.
I can't play that game. It hurts me. It hurts me playing it.
Yep, same.
And so, and I think the reason Conquer holds up is because it's a very cartoony style, first of all, and second of all, it's very funny. The charm and comedy of it is still stands. So this helps a lot of the N64 faults of it, right? Of aiming with no reticles, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of moments where you have to throw stuff and you can't aim for shit. that it would be very, very, very frustrating. Oh, also, I know how to do them, so that helps as well, I guess. But there was a bit when you beat the sort of giant Terminator haystack.
Yeah.
There's a where you need to throw knives at cables when the water goes up, and you're timed on this. And I kept dying because I didn't remember. I always forget there's one cable behind you that you need to get, and so that was a bit frustrating, that part. But yeah, no. Just hearing the song, the main song of it in the main world when you walk around is just enough to bring me into a good mood, and just the whole comedy of it is funny, and it's just a good time.
Yeah, no, I totally get that feeling because I felt the same way. Going back into GoldenEye, it was like this is just unplayable now. I literally cannot switch my brain back to that kind of style of gameplay. Even then too, I thought the aiming and all that was kind of ridiculous. But I mean, you got used to it, right? But yeah, now to go back
Oh,
to it.
when I was a kid, I played it all the time. I did all the level so many times, all the objectives, just everything. I had unlocked everything. Like I loved GoldenEye when I was a kid.
Yep.
And so this hurted me when I played it, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is shit!" Like I couldn't believe it. And then I died, and then I had to restart the whole level and
Oh
the whole
yeah.
mission. And then I was like, "No, there's no way I can play this anymore. No, it's too much. It's too shit. I can't do it."
Yeah.
And so that one was disappointing.
Yeah, I totally
But
forgot that
and
was a
that was the
feature.
first one I think I played. So then I was scared for the other N64 games I had gotten. But no, the other ones are fun.
Sorry,
And
Sheila was just showing a few other games. She was saying that the best solo exclusives, in her opinion, for Xbox was Psychonauts, Sunset Overdrive, and Gears of War. I did get to play Sunset
yeah,
Overdrive. That was actually pretty decent.
I didn't play Sunset Overdrive, but all the other ones are games that I wasn't able to get into. Like I couldn't gel with it for some reason. Like I could see the appeal of why people liked it, but I got annoyed with a lot of stuff with them.
Yeah, like I want to try Psychonauts. I haven't tried that one yet, but Gears of War, I beat it, but like I don't get why people were like, "This is like my fucking rock hard game." Like I fucking love it, you know. Like I found a lot of things in Gears were kind of annoying. I really fucking hate the cover.
Yes,
The cover is the most annoying
yeah,
thing on the planet.
yeah. No, I agree with you exactly. Yeah, no, I can see why people like it, and it's a co-op experience to elevate the game. But it's like when I play Gears of War, I feel my brain become mush. Like I feel
It's so
like
true.
I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, because it's like the same thing
And
each level, right? Like run, cover, shoot, run, cover, shoot.
because I played the third one recently with a friend because he did the same thing as me, but with the Xbox 360 instead of the N64, and so we got a bunch of co-op games, and like we were sort of baffled at Gears of War 3 of how much we were sort of almost falling asleep on it and feeling like it was just numbing,
Yeah.
head numbing.
She also shouted out Sonic the Hedgehog as the one that hurts her going back to. I could see that. 'Cause I think I want to say
I think it depends.
I feel
It
like
depends which one.
yeah. Well, I feel like Sonic is another one of those GoldenEye ones, right, where you died, you had to go all the way back to the beginning. Um, I find that kind of brutal now.
True.
I used to love it as a kid, but now I'm
That's
just like,
true.
I don't have time for this shit. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
How's it going, man?
Not too
It
bad.
is. Yeah, it's been a minute.
It
That's
has.
for sure.
It sure has, buddy. What have you been up to?
You know, as I tell my family and friends, I'm always working.
Oh,
If it's not the day job, it's a night job. So, but I mean, I'm done now, so at least I can get home and relax.
have you had any chance
I
to?
get that.
Yeah, no kidding. Pizza works a lot. Do you have any chance to play any games recently or dive into anything? I know you had a few videos popping up on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I've been putting those shorts up every now and then. Just it's been a lot easier to do shorts because I can just do it whenever I have the time, and it's like I can just use the YouTube app because it's that simple. Just record and then you can edit it through YouTube. So it's nice being able to do that on the fly is good.
Yeah, like I said, YouTube Shorts is a fantastic feature. I said anyone that is streaming or some kind of content definitely start utilizing that. It's fairly easy to use, especially because you can do it all on your phone. Makes it really nice. But yes,
Yeah, it does. It does.
yeah. Sorry, pizza. What games have you been playing?
Um. I've been playing that. I've been playing the Star Wars game, the Fallen Order. No, wait. Yeah, Fallen Order. I think that's the name of it. But yeah, I've been playing that
Oh,
lately,
nice.
so I've been kind of hooked on it.
Yeah. What do you
Yeah, I
think?
finally got. Oh, it's good. I'm enjoying it. Although I mean, I'm already a fan of like Dark Souls games in general, but I just never played that one because um, I know that when it came out, I wanted to play it, but it's just like kind of just left my mind. And then of course I had all these other games I wanted to play, so I really wasn't able to pick that one up. But it's on Game Pass, so that's really why I'm playing it. Because if it wasn't on there, I probably wouldn't even touch it.
Are you playing the first one, Pizza, or the second one? Sorry.
Oh, the first one. I'm just now starting out with the first one. Most
Nice.
likely, if I like the first one, I'll definitely go and get the second game for sure. But yeah, the first one, I mean, the game itself is it's nice. I'm definitely enjoying it.
You have to, yeah, I'll definitely have to hear your thoughts when you finish it, because Z-Chick and me got pretty passionate about that game. At least for me, one of the big things I felt from it from start to finish is you really get the feeling of becoming a Jedi and like going through those steps of being like a beginner, all the way to Jedi Knight. And I'm just curious if you feel that same way when you finish it up.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can definitely feel it. I mean, even when I'm playing it right now, just the fact I'm unlocking all these cool new tricks. I'm like, it's definitely a steady pace of unlocking things, which is great because
Yep.
I don't feel as though like I'm forced to really play the game, and I don't feel as though I have to like look for stuff. I think, but I think I like Dark Souls games because of the fact that everything that happens is more natural. It's more like when it's more on your pace kind of thing. Whereas some games, you have to go and like either speed up or slow down on something. Yeah, story Dark Souls games always nail it in terms of making the characters and the story kind of just flow very smoothly.
No, that's really good to hear, because yeah, it sounds like you had the same feelings I did playing it. When you're talking about like it's not too difficult, how did you find that first boss though? Did you get to that one yet? Like the frog guy?
Oh, which one?
I think it was like the big giant
Oh
frog.
I kept dying to it.
I know, right?
I Yeah, and I mean, and it's funny because like I was actually thinking back to another game I played. It was the Wolong game, and like that first boss was really terrible. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It was just super hard. I kept, like comparing the how many times I died to that frog thing almost 10 times,
Yep.
and every time it was the same reason I kept dying to it. I'm like, really? So out of nowhere, I just started button mashing. I mean, I was doing it before, but I was doing it like aggressively, and it finally paid off.
See, you did that, and I got super lucky. I found out on stream, just like Dark Souls, you can kind of use your environment to your advantage. So there's two ways I think to approach that guy. I think the one was you could jump in from the top and land right in the middle of the pit with him, or the other one was you went through this cave and it kind of led you into that pit. If you were to have stood, like after you trigger him and he goes to attack you, right? If you go back to the cave and you kind of just stand in those hallways, he doesn't have enough reach, and you can just slowly pick off his health that way. I was like, oh, I found the cheap way to beat him. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't even know. I was just button mashing with him, and most of the time, it's like I was, it's like every now and then I got lucky. I could block it and I could, land some hits. But then out of nowhere, it's like he just he just gets me just at the randomest ways.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm like, what's going on? I think it's like a cheat. It very much is like a boss that's just there to make people upset because I didn't get anything out of it except for like some experience points. And like it wasn't even that much anyways. Though. It was really just you got less experience points fighting that boss than you did fighting some random person. So
So
I was
true.
like, yeah, they just put that there just so that you could, I don't know, I guess get players annoyed because using the force powers, like I'm like, nah, this isn't the chief. That's not it. So yeah, I was very much just kind of ticked off after I beat it. I mean, during it, I was like annoyed. After that, I was like, yeah, man, I felt kind of burnt.
I think you can use your force power on its tongue or the inside of his mouth somehow.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You can use the force like anytime, anything they're doing, like even when they're doing their, I guess their signature move, you can also force force load on that as well. So it does help. It definitely does help. And I think that I could have beat the boss, but for some reason, every time I got close to, killing it, it does something super random. And I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah, no, that boss was ridiculous for that. The good news is the bosses after that are not even as close to being as difficult as he was. Um, the
Oh,
one
yeah.
the one thing when you're playing
Yeah.
though, I'll say to you is definitely explore the full worlds. Not the first one, like I mean there's not too much you missed for that one, but when you go to the other planets, try to explore the whole world because they don't really tell you, but they put little hidden bosses in them, and it's really cool, like finding them. But it's weird, like the game doesn't tell you that they're in there. So if you were just to go from quest marker to quest marker, you would totally miss these guys.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I noticed that, I mean, even the game doesn't do well, I mean, the game definitely does not, it doesn't really give you a hint on where to go, but I mean, I guess that's with every Dark Souls game, which that's fair, I mean, like it definitely helps, and I don't think I've gotten lost on the game at all. I think that, like the way they lay out the setting,
Yeah,
everything, like everything goes somewhere, and it's like I feel like I've been that way, because I know that when I was playing Bloodborne, like when I play Bloodborne, I get kind of confused because it doesn't help that everything is like in a city, so everything looks kind of the same until I get to the open areas. But with Star Wars, they were definitely able to figure out how to make everything feel natural and just have the player walk to where it needs to go. Because the map helps, but I don't think the map helps as much as just kind of giving just putting areas, like making areas accessible to us.
yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, the you almost didn't even need the map the way they did it. Yeah, no, I'm glad you feel that way too, because that's how I felt playing it. That and the characters. I like the characters. As you, I think, no, you probably came across a few of them now. In your spaceship. There's some really interesting character development with all of them. I liked it. It was a good Star Wars game. It was a really good Star Wars game.
Oh yeah, I definitely, I'm gonna keep playing it. I mean, I mean, I don't know if I call myself a huge Star Wars fan, but I do like the characters and the setting and kind of the lore. But it's it is very interesting. It's very interesting, but yeah, I'm not a super fan. I'm not a fanboy of it, but I can appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm not anymore. Anyways, like I I think it was easier to be a fan of Star Wars before than now.
Oh, totally.
Probably so. I don't even follow Star Wars like that. I kind of stopped really bothering with it after a while. Like, I mean, probably after one of those movies. I don't know. The one I never watched the New Hope one or any of the other ones because I just got tired of watching movies and Star Wars movies in general because
Same.
I don't know. I was just not really feeling it. It wasn't as fun. I mean, even the movies back in the '70s, like they weren't bad, but it definitely felt like trying to watch all of them at once or like just in the span of a weekend. It felt like a chore. So that's just my opinion, though. I like the characters. I like the series, the franchise. But yeah, there's just so much in that whole thing that I don't know if I even have the enough interest to really dive into it.
Well, that's okay. For many years, Mindful was picked on for loving Episode One, and what did Disney announce recently? That Episode One is the most watched Star Wars movie. So yeah, suck it all,
Yeah,
you.
because cause everybody can't stop watching a train wreck.
Oh, come on now. No, it's good. It's good. I
No,
love
no. Have you seen it recently?
the Phantom Menace. No, probably
Yeah.
it's been a while. Yeah, it's definitely been a while.
Okay, because here's the thing. When I was a kid, when I was younger, I loved Phantom Menace. I really did. But as I got older, and I love Phantom Menace and hated the second one, the Clone Wars one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Same.
And as I got older, it flipped.
Wow.
Hated Phantom Menace, liked more the Clone Wars one, and well, 3 always was the better ones out of the 3.
Yeah.
But that didn't change. But yeah, it sort of flipped, and I was sort of surprised by it because now you see all the weird mishaps and all the things that makes no sense whatsoever compared to 2 and 3 that make a bit more sense in their events.
I could see that. I'm thinking back to 2. There are like good moments that I definitely enjoyed. Like obviously the big fight was amazing.
Sure.
But even I think that was the one. Yeah, number 2 was the one where they had like the chase with the assassin at the beginning. I think it was. Yeah, that was good. That was actually really good.
It's a bit dumb, but yes, it was fun to to watch. No, but because okay, it's one of the most ridiculous scene I've ever seen, though, where they're sort of standing around waiting for whatever, guarding Amidala,
Yep.
and then they have like they sense something is wrong, so they enter the room. Anakin chops off the larva that was going to poison her.
Oh yeah.
Then they see the drone that's through the window that sort of gave that larva. Then it goes to go away. Obi-Wan just fucking jumps through the window. no thought process or anything. He just literally jumps through it, breaking the window and everything. And I don't know. There's just something with this swan dive into the window that is so ridiculous and stupid. One of the stupidest scene I've seen. But yeah, otherwise it's a fun scene. Yeah.
That is true though. Like when you think of Star Wars, like there are a lot of times they do a lot of artsy fartsy shit that's just like so unnecessary in a fight. Like they gotta, yeah.
But especially the prequels, yes.
Yeah, the prequels especially.
Like maybe I can find the scene.
Oh, it's too good.
But yeah, no. And for me, everything after what George Lucas did doesn't exist in my head. It's dead to me.
Yeah, man, 3 was good though. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just thinking back to the third one. Like there was just no way they could fuck that up. I mean, they would have to really try, because it was such a good way to wrap it all up, like the death of the Jedi's. Like, yeah.
Well,
I still love Order 66. That's still such a great scene.
oh yeah, for sure. But here's the thing, though: these prequels, they're not good movies. Their ideas are very good.
Yeah.
That's the problem with those movies. And they haven't aged well with all the weird 3D.
Yeah, especially episode 1, I guess that's true. I was like just kind of testing the waters there with some of those mechanics.
Yeah, no. Episode 1 is the one that has aged the least well in terms of effects. Like way more than the other 2 afterwards. The other 2 seems to make sense. They're like following each other. 1 seems a bit out of place.
I guess
somehow.
I wonder if it's because 1 was trying so hard to like explore the whole world. Because you think about it, right? They were in space. They had Naboo, right? Then they had the city. Like they traveled. I mean, Tatooine. Oh my god, Tatooine.
Tatooine.
Thank you. They went to a lot of different locations and a lot of different like environmental settings, right? Like water and then like the sands and all that. Like it was very ambitious for that kind of timeline to make a movie.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, even in terms of stories,
yeah, it's kind of weird
just
to think.
In terms of story,
it's kind of weird to think.
I
like
mean,
Darth
I know.
Vader started that way.
Well, I mean, I know what I sort of get where it comes from, right?
Yeah.
The problem is that they didn't exactly follow through what they should have done. Because here's the thing, in what's supposed to happen is that Qui-Gon is supposed to be the father figure that Anakin never had, right?
Yep.
And they sort of never set that well up, or set that up very well. Because then, well, I guess spoiler for a super old movie, he dies like shortly after, so they couldn't set that up, and it's sort of that presence and that loss should have permeated through the other movies, but it since it didn't set that up properly, it doesn't work, right?
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Hey, does he ever really talk about Qui-Gon Jinn after that? Very few moments, I think, in 2 it might have been mentioned, but it was more of a
I've put the Obi-Wan jumps out the window into the Discord chat.
nice. I'll have to include that one when I edit the video.
But
yeah.
But yeah, no. So that's a part that there's a lot of details like this that I see where it comes from and what makes it Anakin, but they're not well integrated, or what what they tried to do with him and Padme. It's the cringiest thing, and it's terrible relationships together, right? But I see the idea behind it. They're all ideas, very, very good ideas that in the hands of a better director and writer, I think, uh, would have been like the second coming of Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. Sorry, Solario. Well, actually, it all started with Pizza talking about how he was playing a Star Wars game.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. She was just asking, she's like, what are you guys talking about even? And then we just kind of trailed off into the whole Star Wars movies. She was saying, fun fact, Star Wars movies are almost as old as I am at this point, so really no spoilers. That's so true, eh? When it's reached that
So
kind of milestone.
please, Pizza, continue what you're with your gaming talk, and I'll shut up over here.
No, it's all good. I love Star Wars talks.
Oh, well, you're fine. That's really been it though. Just kind of playing the Star Wars game. Other than that, I've been dipping my head into Twitter and seeing what's going on with all the gaming news. So, I can definitely tell you what's been happening with PlayStation and Xbox, but I'm pretty sure I'm beating a dead horse now because it seems like nothing's really changed. The same old arguments. It's just with different people now.
Well, we all got to voice our opinions, Pizza, but you always have some really good takes on it too. Like, what is your thoughts and all that stuff? Like with Xbox Game Pass, like the future of it. Yeah, like just all the big power moves that have been happening throughout the week.
Well, I thought it was a good idea when they were doing all that, kind of breathe some new life into all of these other companies they got. But now they just kind of let everybody go. When I'm thinking to myself, like, why? What's the point of you guys doing all that? And then the fact that they were saying that they need these smaller studios that already made great games. So it's like it's a weird move that they did, and it doesn't make Microsoft good at all. You know, I've talked about PlayStation and how they're doing all this PSN stuff and how they're ruining a lot of gaming experiences because they just can't let people play the games. So it's like both companies they're doing the weirdest stuff for money, and I'm like, I don't think they understand that a lot of these people, at some point in time, they're going to start buying those games because if they can't play the game, if they don't get what they're, like if they're not getting the sequels to these great games, then they're not going to bother. I mean, just like how when they have the new Battlefield coming out, I mean, the first thing that EA talked about was making it a live service game, and so we already know they're going to have battle passes and season passes and all this. You got to buy characters, so it's like why like these companies they are doing it all wrong And it's like, man, at what point in time did they just say, you know what? Why don't we just stop being, weirdos and just focus on the games? So that's kind of my opinion of this whole the gaming atmosphere now.
And the other one we were mentioning is, do you think that this next console generation will be the last console generation, or do you think we'll still have a few more to bang out?
Most likely, we're going to have a few more. I think that with how Xbox has put their console out and how PlayStation has put their console out, neither one has really given us a game that like says this is why I bought a PlayStation. I'm sure that people might say, well, we got Stellar Blade, we got Spider-Man, we got Hi-Fi, which is cool and all, but those are games that are already coming to PC. These are games that they have the same graphical power as a modern graphics card. So, if it can be done on the computer, which it seems that they're going to be pushing anyways, then they have to push something else out. They can't, I mean, they could say, hey guys, no more consoles, we're done with it. But I do think that they have a good idea. Like, I mean, they have an idea in their heads. PlayStation has their gimmick where they have the PSVR. They could definitely go the Wii route and make a whole motion camera system. I guess like the Xbox. The Xbox could go back to doing the whole Connect thing where they have their motion capture or their whatever you want to call it. VR is still a thing that's not being pushed out as it should be. Like there's so many things that are not being displayed to us. So I think that I could see them having another console. That it would be a good idea if they push these consoles with these gimmicks. Because at this point in time, if you're going to say, well, just buy for the games, they have now shown us that if we just wait a couple of years, we're going to get that same game and more on PC. So they really need to start going back to the early days where, Xbox had their virtual characters, PlayStation had their PSVR. They need to start doing that because that's the best way they're going to really bring back what it means to have a console.
That's true, because I was talking to JD about that earlier about consoles having great features that they don't really talk about. We were talking about the what we call it, the
Haptic feedback on
thank
the
you. Wow.
PS5 controller and all the different vibrations that no other controller can do, and that it really enhances the
Yeah.
gameplay of multiple games, but it's never really
Talked
mentioned.
about. That's a real shame. And then sorry, Sheila here was just bringing up too. She says if we're going to talk about consoles and all that, how about backwards kind of oh my god, why can't I really can't speak today? Backwards oh my god, forget it. You know what I mean? You can play.
Compatibility.
Thank you. I don't know.
I get.
Like my mind has just gone to mush in the last 5 minutes. But anyway, she say like PS5 you can't play older games. Xbox they half-ass their backwards ability, and
Yep.
you can only play half of them. I agree that that might be a bigger selling point on consoles. I know before, and I don't know if it's really gonna spike the price that much, but I've heard that was one of the reasons why a lot of companies don't go out that way. But I think the more logical one was licensing. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but I think that was probably
Yes.
right. Yeah, that would be their hardest reason why they can't do every single game for you.
Yeah, because they can easily emulate their own library.
Yeah, when they talk
Yeah,
licensing,
they
they mean
could.
like music and all that, right? Like they just lost the rights to some soundtracks and things like that. That's why they can't bring back those
Yes.
games. Okay.
But what I mean is, for backward compatibility, you could just emulate the whole library easily. It's not that costly.
It isn't okay because I remember before that was one of the comments that was made.
I mean, it this okay, there's a difference between backward compatibility, so making PS4 games work on PS5 games through disc tray. Yes, that's more costly, especially that it's a Blu-ray disc tray.
Oh,
Costs a lot.
okay.
But what I meant is if they were serious about giving you a way to play old games without costing them, they could easily emulate their own library, no problem. But licensing would be a problem.
Oh, okay, no, that makes more sense. Yeah, because I think that was the console. I think it was PS4. I think a lot of people were getting pissed off, right? Because they couldn't play the older titles, and they were like, "Well, we just can't do it with the PS4."
Yeah,
Because
the architecture is different.
exactly, yeah, it was, yeah, okay, fair enough then. I mean, consoles are expensive enough as it is, so I can see why that would have been, why they would have taken that route. But then for
I mean,
Xbox, it's weird that then they chose only like a certain chunk of their collection. Because like I said, I could grab my OG
yeah,
Xbox game, I could pop it into the Xbox One, and it plays no problem. Yeah, that's weird. And actually, that's not true. Sorry, I was gonna say Morrowind. I found out I tried to play that one through the disc tray, and it wouldn't. No, it's not Morrowind. Sorry, Fable. And then I found out that you can only have Fable from the Xbox 360 play um, through the disc tray. So even some
but not
games,
the one from.
yeah, odd, right? Because it's like the same shit. Like it's not really that much different. I want to say Morrowind was another one. I have to retry it out to make sure I'm right. But yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, weird.
um,
No, but really, like, I don't see why you'd half-ass a feature.
yeah.
Like, it's not a good selling point, I find. Oh yeah, we have retro compatibility, but not really.
Well, here's a funny one too, right? Like, so remember when Xbox was going all bananas about like Helldivers 2, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you should bring it over to Xbox. Like, this is the way of the future and
Yeah.
all that, right?" And then on one of those podcasts I was listening to, they brought up such a good point. They're like, "Yeah, Xbox made the stand, and they said all this shit." And then like apparently when I guess Todd Howard was asked about Fallout 76 and why wasn't cross-platform, he's like, "Well, we just think it's better this way." And it's like, well, fuck, man, Bethesda bought you out. So, I mean, I'm sorry, Xbox bought you out. So, if they're really that passionate about cross platform and playing with friends online, like, you think you would do that on a game that right now should be getting the most hype ever, right? And they were like, yeah, we're thinking about doing like cross save or whatever, so you can bring your character over. But it's like that's not what we want though. We want to be able to play with anyone on any console, like especially a game like that. Just I don't know, feels weird that that's where they're
Oh,
gonna
yeah,
they're gonna put their flag in the
especially a
sand.
game like that. Especially a game like that where it's not fun unless you're making fun of it with friends.
Exactly, it's like I don't know. It's just stupid. Like it's like you're gonna go after a game that is super ass popular right now, and you just want to grab on that fan base. But a game that's like dying in the sands, you're not willing to go the extra mile with. I don't know. Weird choices sometimes in gaming. Very weird choices.
Yeah, well, especially that one. Like they should have made it crossplay when the show came out.
Yeah. Or just like you said, right? Like it's just like again, it's Xbox just trying to play the victim card, and it's like, well, you're not fully passionate about what you're saying. Clearly, if you're gonna,
None of them are fully passionate about what they're saying.
oh yeah, no,
None of
100%.
them, especially Phil Spencer. I fucking hate him because he's so good at his job.
He is.
Like he's so good at selling you and telling you that he looks like an everyday guy that just games and whatever. When he's actually probably one of the best businessmen in the business, right?
Oh yeah,
Cutthroat businessman
when
that he
Jamie
would be ready to sell your children if he could.
when Jamie gave that example on the Super Show, I laughed so hard. I was like, yeah, he nailed
What
it.
example?
When he was like, well, we all know how it's gonna go down. Phil Spencer's gonna come out. He's gonna be like, oh, it's so sad these studios are dropping out. He's gonna go on some random indie podcast, so he seems like he's connecting with the people. It's like that's 100% what he does too. Like you just
Of course.
nailed
And
it.
he just talks and talks and talks for so long. And
Yeah, I'm just one
yeah,
of
with
you.
his nonchalant attitude, and
I'm just one of the people.
he annoys me. He annoys me so much, but he's good at what he does.
He is, yeah. That's the shitty part is that he's actually like good at being a business shark. Like shit. Oh. Sorry, I know I kept you guys for a long time. I did get a chance to ask you earlier, JW. And I was just really curious because you have put out a few books now and stuff like that, right? With your
Chapters.
yeah, chapters. Sorry, that you launched. Did you get any feedback? Did anyone like email you or anything like that? Just letting you know their thoughts on the book or anything at all?
Not really, or maybe I didn't check. I'm not sure. That's also possible.
Yeah.
Because I don't really look back. I just move forward. So
No, fair enough. I was just curious as someone, was like, I fucking love this, that you wrote and was really interested in such and such in the book. I was just curious if you got any kind of feedback. Yeah. Okay.
no, not really. But I like it.
Yeah, no,
I
fair
think
enough.
it's pretty cool.
I was.
I do get more followers here and there though
Are you nice?
on the Wattpad thing. So I guess I must be doing something. Because I'm doing zero marketing for it, so I guess there must be something.
Oh, that's cool. So it's like just all word of mouth. That's what's growing you right now.
Yeah, or people reading it. Yeah, I guess. I'm not sure. Like I said,
Yeah, that inventory's done. I
like
think I'm gonna go look at Wattpad and see because I think I had to sign up or something when I opened your link last time.
yeah, that's new. I noticed that recently that you had to sign up to check some stuff, and that's new. I wasn't aware of this, so I'm a bit annoyed. But it's not that a big of a deal.
No.
I'll sell on Amazon anyways. So.
Yeah.
But no, I think I've also tried a couple of stuff with this episodic format, right? And trying certain ways of writing, and so it was an interesting thing to play with. But I wouldn't do an episodic thing off every time, though. I would much prefer release of complete novel or story and just say that's the story.
I get you. Yeah, you're just kind of experimenting right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I didn't think of it that way. Books are a little bit different than other content. I was just thinking, like, like if I was to release a video, right? Like, it's always neat when you get that one little feedback. It's like, man, I fucking love this. But yeah, I guess with books, it can be a little different. People might not always be as positive either when they say things.
I don't know. They don't say anything as of yet. Like I said, it's mostly more like, oh, well, you have a new follower. It's like, oh, really? Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
But I would like to have feedback, actually. That would be interesting to know what chapter was more gripping than another.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hinting at.
Right. Yeah, I'm always down to, do that. I've been needing to do more reading anyway, so
You
it would be
both,
nice to
buddy.
kind of, see see what else, just to kind of see what's out there, because, I have books in my house, but I'm not going to read them. Like, I know for a fact that if you put me in a room with $1 million and I'll just read a book, I come out there empty-handed. So I
Same.
definitely need to get back into it. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely down to, read what you've been putting out and give some feedback.
Sure, I'll send you my website link if you want.
That sounds good.
It's same with me though. Like I have this entire fucking bookshelf, and like Cheyenne will power through like 4 or 5 books, and I'm just like, fuck, man, I haven't even read a page yet of anything, like let alone a whole book. Shit.
Well, it's going to sound stupid, but I used to read more before writing. Now I write more, so it's hard to have time between working, gaming, writing, and reading, and
Exactly. Yeah.
family time as well. That's without even counting seeing my wife. So there's a lot to manage.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. As I said, now I'm done inventory and all that other shit. I have more free time now, so I can actually dive into things. I definitely want to read yours because, like I said, it's something special that was written by someone that I actually know. So I want to take the chance to see what you put down.
More importantly, I think it's a good story
Yes,
that
that's true too.
that everybody should read.
I will make sure again. I put up the link for you guys so when you get to this part of the video, you can see where JW's website is and get a chance to see the covers, like I've done in the past before. And I promise you, Pizza, when your introduction comes up, I'll post a couple of your videos that you had on there and a link to your YouTube as well. But yeah, I kept you guys for a really long ass time. I'm sorry, JW the most, because he's been here for the whole shabam. But yeah, this was actually a really
Yeah,
good one.
and I gotta go to sleep because I have a heavy load tomorrow again,
Oh, no,
and
no worries, my dude. I totally get it. But yeah,
I, it's a terrible week. Uh, anyway, I won't go into details, but it's a terrible work week. So
aw,
Yeah, it's just been a heavy day. I mean, even over here, just when Monday hit, like I think everybody felt that it was going to be a slow day. It's picking up now, but it really is just going to be a little bit rougher because we'll be graduating. Well, I mean, sorry, the kids will be graduating in about a few weeks, so
oh
we're trying to play
yeah.
catch up. We're trying to get them out of here and get all the testing and all that stuff done. So yeah, it's gonna just be a lot of back and forth with us. So yeah, it's gonna suck, but at least once we're done, we're done.
Yeah, I'm such an asshole. I never even thought of it from the teacher's point of view. It must be really stressful during this moment in school. Shit, that's a lot to pound out in the last couple weeks. Damn.
Yeah, the summer. Once summer hits, then it's we're free from prison. But until then, we gotta just gotta you gotta lock in, as they say.
Well, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week and hopefully it works a little bit more kinder to the both of you. But yeah, again, thank you guys so much for hopping on. I appreciate you sharing your thoughts and opinions. And thank you to everyone in chat
it
as well.
won't, but thanks.
You guys have a wonderful evening now.
But yeah, all right, man. Y'all take care.
Yeah, bye.
And hopefully Restream will be kind to me. Yes, it was. Thank you, thank you. And as always, your favorite part of the stream. Just kidding. Mindful Pig just gonna yabber on for just 2 more seconds. I'm just gonna say thank you to the 3 viewers that stayed logged in and watched me this entire time. I appreciate it very, very much. I would like to also give a shout out to Prison Gamer 05 for being in the chat for so long and taking part in the entire conversation. I am deeply sorry though that I did miss some of your comments. Once Django and Z-Chick start going at it, it is so hard to keep up with chat because it's just like bouncing at that point. But I love them both. That's another one. Huge shout out to Z-Chick. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for being my mod always and helping me out. Same with you too, Django. I appreciate you both very, very much. Juggernaut. Sorry, buddy. You hopped in and had to wait so long to join the conversation. But it's always nice to hear your thoughts and opinions. Highly, 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 Juggernaut, recommend that you do, if you don't do your own podcast, I highly recommend you should do some game reviews. I think you don't give enough of your opinion. And when you do drop an opinion about a game, it's actually very well put. And yeah, I always find it interesting just hearing your thoughts on games. It's a little recommendation. I think your fans out there would enjoy it too. Yeah, I think I got everyone. I'm just trying to think if there's anyone in chat that I might have missed. Oh, our very first one, Jimmy's best buddy, Boundary Break. Thank you too for hopping in for the first time. I appreciate you being here. However, it didn't say it was a first time chatter, so maybe I just forgot. I'm sorry if I did. But anyway, thank you for hopping in. I appreciate it. I think we got everybody that was in here today. I didn't miss anyone else. Solarial, of course, too. Solarial, thank you for hopping in as always. I gotta hop into one of your streams again now that things have died down. I kind of miss watching you play some anime games or Kingdom Hearts or stuff like that. It was fun watching, or even Genshin. It's just fun watching you play. It's been a long, long time. Yeah. As far as the rest of the week goes, everything will be as normal. Wednesday will be my stream. I'll be back into editing mode, right? But thankfully, these podcasts come out every 2 weeks, so I got some extra time. Persona 3 will just be on the charts. Sorry, guys, but I'm gonna go hard on Persona 3 until I'm at the 20-hour mark, and then after that, I'm gonna pull out and I will play that on my own. And I will stream and play other games for you guys. But I did promise Jimmy that I would definitely clock in 100 hours so I could give a good review on the podcast, which you guys will be listening to in, I think, a few more weeks. Yeah, a few more weeks is the end of May. And we've already got our next games planned out for the next challenge in our podcast. So yeah, hope you guys look forward to that. I have some very solid opinions on Persona 3. One I think that will shock you guys if you've been watching my streams. I think you'll be surprised with my final opinions on Persona. But hey, we're only at the 9-hour mark, so that could change in the next 10 hours or so that I'll be playing that game. But for everyone else, thank you. Hope you have a beautiful night. I'm going to go eat. I'm not going to raid out tonight. Sorry to anyone look forward to the raids. But Mindful's tired and wants to have some food in his tummy. Peace out and love you all. Bye.